Go and prepare anesthesia. Move quickly. You lazy fool. If you delay tonight's transaction, you will pay for it with your life. The mean hoarse voice echoed around Wang Quan, pulling his drowsy consciousness back to the real world again. Dazzling light, lit from above. Wang Quan of Suxing instinctively narrowed his eyes. With sleepy eyes, Wang Quan turned his head with difficulty and observed the strange place he was in. This looks like a clinic. In the dark sealed room, the shadowless lamp above was the only light source. On the dark yellow concrete floor, there are large smears of blood that have not yet been cleaned up. One after another, cheap body bags were randomly piled up in the corners of the wall, and dark yellow fluid was constantly seeping out of the bags. Exudes similar to some kind of meat, the smell of rotten and spoiled. Witnessing the terrifying environment, Wang Quan's heart sank, and he tried to get up. But the sturdy steel locks restricted his movements. It even scratched the skin of the arm, overflowing with bright red blood. Stop being useless resistance. These are specially made handcuffs. You can't escape. The mean hoarse voice sounded again, and the distance was closer than before. Wang Quan instinctively turned his head and looked in the direction of the voice. A thin old man in a surgical gown was standing in front of the operating table, looking down at Wang Quan playfully. This rickety and mean old man exudes the stench of alcohol, and in those bloodshot pupils, there is no trace of humanity in the coldness. In the dispensing room not far away, a bloated black nurse awkwardly picked up an anesthetic and walked towards the operating room. Oops, this group wants his kidneys. Wang Quan instantly realized that he was probably doomed. We can talk about. Wang Quan took a deep breath and tried to negotiate with the old man in front of him. If he doesn't do anything, then his final fate is to become a member of the body bag, piled up here to rot and stink. But the old man in front of him did not give Wang Quan a chance, but instead showed a mocking smile. Silly boy, are you qualified to bargain? The most valuable treasure on your body is the parts in your belly. They will sell for a lot of money on the black market tonight. The old man sneered in a bad tone. He was too lazy to care the life and death of this black-haired boy in front of him. Even if something goes wrong, the boss behind the scenes will settle everything for him. Just when Wang Quan realized that he had no hope of survival, a dark red photon screen suddenly unfolded right in front of him. Master detected, is in danger, the infinite system is activating. The system has been activated. Congratulations to the master for getting newcomer activation package. For your safety, please turn it on as soon as possible, master. Unlimited system. Belonged to Wang Quan's gold finger. The infinite system of emergency activation has undoubtedly become the only hope. Turn on. Wang Quan did not have any hesitation and decisively issued an order to the system. The package is opening. Congratulations. Obtain the initial base, Cybertron. Congratulations. Obtain the holy artifact of the Iron Fort, the Hammer of Heavens, chosen. Before Wang Quan carefully checked the reward, there was a severe tingling in his brain. There is still some drowsy consciousness, and it has a special resonance with a mechanical planet called Cybertron outside the vast starry sky. Start now. This mechanical planet is Wang Quan's private property. You have established a spiritual connection with Cybertron. Congratulations on getting Yuanshi Tianzu form. Congratulations on getting Decepticon's loyalty. Before the sound was over, a teleportation door more than 10 meters away appeared in the dim operating room. Gorgeous portal, shining brightly. A loud roar sounded from the door, echoing in the dim underground clinic. Soon, from the portal, a black robotic insect came out. Under the terrified eyes of the old man, the 13-meter-high mechanical beast raised his arm violently and shattered the ceiling above. Scattered dust and gravel fell from the sky, diffuse in the dim operating room, obscuring everyone's sight. Only a pair of blood-red electronic eyes lit up from the smoke and locked Wang Quan on the operating table. Wang Quan, the new king of the Decepticons. Cybertron, the future savior. When Wang Quan was found on the operating table, he was examining them. All the robotic insects kneel on the ground respectfully to show their awe for the master. A slender, purple-black female Decepticon with 8 alloy spider legs behind her walked out of the robotic insects. Your most loyal subordinate, Black Widow, best regards you. The new leader of the Decepticons, His Majesty Wong Quan. Before the words fell, Black Widow kneeled on one knee respectfully. A spider leg turned into a sharp blade, cutting through the chains that bound Wong Quan. You guys are here just in time. After regaining his freedom, Wong Quan sat up from the operating table, moved his injured arm, and made fun of the Black Widow in front of him. A woman's intuition is always the sharpest. Black Widow half squinted his eyes, and his magnetic voice was somewhat sinister. Then he turned his eyes to the old man and the black nurse who were slumped on the ground. Need me, for you. Black Widow raised his slender palm, and the sharp alloy claws popped out from his fingers, flashing a strange purple light. As long as her king ordered the execution, she will be like cutting tofu with a knife, causing the humans below to move their heads. Need not. Wong Quan stopped Black Widow's good intentions. Sitting on the operating table, he looked down at the old man who was slumped on the ground. The corners of the cracked and bleeding mouth gradually rose, revealing a cruel smile. Now, we can have a good talk. 2. The smoke in the underground clinic has not yet dissipated. The shadowless lamp, which provided a bright light, also began to flicker under the influence of the shock. Under the escort of mechanical insects, Wong Quan at this moment looks like a devil from hell. The vicious old man slumped on the ground, shook his thin body. He could never have dreamed that such a bizarre event would happen. As a human, how could he be the opponent of that monster? Forgive. For God's sake, please show mercy. The despairing white old man knelt on the ground and begged with his trembling hands folded. The hoarse and harsh voice seemed to be a desperate cry from the soul. Wong Quan, who was condescending, looked down at the old man below. The cruel smile on his face became more and more intense. Forgive you, Wong Quan asked jokingly. Then he raised his left foot, aimed at the vicious face of the old man, and stomped it down. Then, the second foot, third foot, fourth foot. Click. The sound of bone cracking resounded. The splashed plasma, mixed with gray-white flocculence, dyed the clean white uppers red and fell on the surrounding ground. The old man who was hit continuously did not even scream. He collapsed to the ground softly, as if his spine had been slashed, and soon lost his breath. This horrifying scene frightened the black nurse. When she moved her bloated body and tried to escape from the scene, she was pierced by a sharp alloy spider leg and pierced through her calf. What? The shrill screams echoed in the dilapidated black clinic. I am innocent. All this is what they forced me to do. As long as you are willing to let me go, I am willing to tell you everything I know. The black nurse's face was hideous in pain, and her lips were purple and crying. She was afraid that as an assistant, she would end up the same as the old man. In order to survive, she was willing to give everything. Hearing the nurse's plea, Wong Quan raised a little interest. He stepped on the old man's bones and walked slowly towards the black nurse. First question, where is this place? Wong Quan squatted in front of the black nurse, looking down at the terrified woman, raised a finger, and questioned with a bad expression. Hell's Kitchen. You were transported over by someone from Mr. Jean this afternoon. I swear to you, I never thought of harming you. The black nurse replied eagerly, and like a dying stray dog, begged the man in front of him to spare his life. Hearing this answer, Wong Quan's brows began to wrinkle, and his face became more gloomy. Hell's Kitchen. He had heard of such a place, but it also made him sure that in such a place, he was engaged in such cruel deeds. The dead, vicious old man and the black nurse in front of him must have come from some organization. Second question, who is that Mr. Jean? Wong Quan continued to ask. He must find out as soon as possible who was plotting against him. We generally don't say his name, but everyone knows that he is the underground emperor of this city. He holds terrifying power, and the only way to go against him is to die. He is the one. Golden Bien. The black nurse said with a trembling. She turned her brown eyes in horror and looked at those giant robotic insects. Her not-so-smart brain was vaguely aware of it. This city is about to change again. Jinping. When Wong Quan heard the familiar name, he showed a suspicious expression. This seems to be the supervillain in Spider-Man. His identity and status are almost the same as Mr. Jean in this woman's mouth. That's right. He is Mr. Jean. Even those so-called superhero are no match for him. Please, Forgive my offense, that's all I know. The black nurse hurriedly explained that this was all the information she knew was known to the lower-level personnel. Hearing this explanation, Wang Quan is basically sure. This is no longer his original world. He is clearly crossing over. Fleshly travels to a familiar but dangerous American comics multi-universe. The corner of Wang Quan's mouth rose, looking at the Black Widow who was ready to go, and the group of extremely docile robotic insects, and murmured playfully, "Fate, how wonderful." When the words fell, he waved his hand casually, indicating to Black Widow behind him, "This black nurse is no longer worth using." Black Widow, who received the order, waved 3 alloy spider legs, pierced the hands and feet of the black nurse, and ripped it hard. Tear. The limbs scattered from the air were like garbage, randomly discarded inside the room. The black nurse, who has not lost her vital features, opened her mouth hideously. Before she could scream, the soles of Black Widow's feet fell from the sky, smash her remaining body to pieces. Wang Quan, who witnessed all this, did not feel uncomfortable, because the two of them were dead. Black Widow, can you contact Sonic them? Smelling the sweet and turbid air, Wang Quan stretched lazily and communicated with Black Widow behind him. He wanted to gather the Decepticons' warriors through the Black Widow. In this wonderful world full of opportunities, achieve grand ambitions. 3. Hearing Wang Quan's order, Black Widow showed a look of astonishment. When she realized the cause and effect, she explained to Wang Quan in a rather helpless tone, "I think you may not have found out. Your will has been connected to Cybertron. All living beings born from Cybertron. The fire is connected to your will. You can even extinguish the fire with a single thought, or give your loyal subordinates greater power. Just like the Yuanshi Tianzuan, who created the 13 apostles." Black Widow replied respectfully. There is awe in his soft voice. As an ambitious conspirator, she knew very well what the master needed now. Strength, unparalleled power, powerful enough to dominate the world and establish a new order. Yes. Hearing Black Widow's explanation, Wang Quan realized that. Why did I get the loyalty from the Decepticons? To sum it up simply, only 8 words are enough. Those who obey me prosper. Those who oppose me perish. As for how to establish a spiritual connection with Cybertron, Wang Quan thought of the scene that happened before. Smile and close your eyes. Connect your spiritual consciousness to the Cybertron star again. In an instant, like a vast sea of stars, dazzling and dense light spots spread out in front of Wang Quan's eyes. Every bright spot of light corresponds to the spark of a shape-shifting King Kong. He can read each other's thoughts with just a light touch. You can even rewrite it at will. From the perspective of physical law, the life and death of the other party are played in the palm of your hand. Sonic, come and see me immediately. I need you now to collect intelligence on this world for me. Wang Quan gave instructions indifferently. He knew exactly what he needed now after he had the power. Intelligence. And as the Decepticon intelligence officer, there is no doubt that Sonic is a powerful and loyal subordinate. Soon, there was a roaring sound from the portal that had not yet been closed. A crisp bird call sounded first. The blue-gray laser bird with a strong impact is the first to fly out of the portal. After smashing the wall above, disappear into the dark night sky. At the same time, the slender sound waves also walked out of the portal and appeared in front of Wang Quan. Your order is being carried out, Your Excellency. The sound of electronic synthesis sounded in Wang Quan's mind. Then, the head of the sound wave emits a blue light. In front of Wang Quan, a map of the city that is still being drawn is projected. This is the masterpiece of Laserbird. 6 blocks away, a police car is approaching. Police helicopter detected and approaching. For your safety, please leave this place as soon as possible. Sonic reported the information detected by Laserbird to Wang Quan in detail and kindly reminded the new commander. It's not safe here. Let the robot insects deal with this group of unsightly jokers. Sonic, let the Laserbird search for the whereabouts of Kimby. Wang Quan gave the order with a sneer. Recalling the previous encounter, his eyes were full of crazy killing intent. I can't wait to pull out Jean Bing, who was hiding behind the scenes, to peel and dismantle the bones, and the hatred in my heart has been solved. After getting the order, robot insects, shape-shifting into Hercules beetles, a terrifying body size of more than 13 meters, combined with indestructible defensive armor and indestructible sharp teeth. Even on Cybertron, there are hardly any more ferocious warriors than this group of robot insects. Concrete ceiling, in front of robotic insects, fragile cardboard. 1. 10. Following their queen, Black Widow, the 11 robotic beetles that arrived unfolded their alloy insect wings and smashed the roof into pieces. These monsters from Cybertron flew wildly to the outside streets and intercepted the police cars that were rushing to the scene. At the same time, a luxury villa far away in California, the super genius named Tony Stark, after day and night of research and development, finally created the latest armor, Mark II. 4. Late at night, the attack in Hell's Kitchen quickly caught the attention of the local police department. Almost all the armed forces were dispatched, and with the fastest speed, rushed to the scene of the incident. Unfortunately, their motive is not pure rescue. This group of wine sacks and rice sacks, which have been bought by gold for a long time, have become loyal lackeys. The purpose of rushing to the scene is nothing more than to investigate and see who is so blind, dare to offend the noble underground emperor in the impossible zone of Hell's Kitchen. Unfortunately, they don't even know what a terrifying hell awaits them ahead. The roaring insect swarm became more and more violent in the dark night sky. Robot insects weighing more than tens of tons, like meteorites, smashed towards the street below. The vehicles waiting for the traffic lights turned into discus with continuous explosions. Hardshell arrived at the scene. Robot insects, shape-shifting. In the flickering firelight, there was a harsh electronic sound. The robotic insect in the form of a beetle quickly reorganized, shape-shifting, and turned into a ferocious, shape-shifting King Kong again. The harsh siren sounded from the front soon. The robotic insect, called Shrapnel, turned its electronic eyes and locked the 3 police cars that came. He stretched out his terrifying giant claws and easily grabbed a lit black car and smashed it in the direction of the police car. Boom! The violent roar sounded again. The explosion of fire, accompanied by the screams of the citizens, constitutes a realistic version of the Hell picture scroll. The helicopter hovering in the air witnessed the tragic situation below. The driver immediately turned on the communication device and reported the scene. "This is Hell's Kitchen. We need support. This is not a drill. We need to." Unfortunately, before the pilot's words were finished, a purple energy light bomb rose from the ground and hit the helicopter precisely. Another flame, blooming in the night sky. The fallen ruin parts smashed into the surrounding blocks, igniting one shop after another on the street. The robotic insect standing in the ruins of the fire put down its left arm that was shape-shifted into a gun and walked slowly in the firelight, searching for surviving life forms. The urban area where Hell's Kitchen is located has turned into a sea of fire at this moment. The flames and gunpowder smoke rose into the sky, dyeing the night sky of half the city red. Countless media in the lighthouse country just want to smell the flies of things, more than hundreds of media, and urgently broadcast this disaster. Even Tony, who was adjusting his steel battle suit in California, saw the scene at the first time. Then, this super genius in people's mouth was shocked beyond words by the mechanical life in front of him. Although this is the first appearance of Decepticons, however, destruction and death are deeply imprinted in the souls of the people of the lighthouse, and they will never be forgotten. After half an hour, a luxury clothing store. After dressing up, Wong Quan, wearing a jet black coat, calmly walked out of the clothing store and pressed the detonator in his hand. Next moment, the building behind him was devoured by the blazing fire with a loud roar. Black Widow spread out his 8 spider legs intimately and used his slender body to resist the splashing stones for Wong Quan. "Your Majesty, there is a message from Sonic. The laser bird has locked the position of Golden Bien. Please allow me to take you to the scene in the form of a vehicle," Black Widow said respectfully. For the intelligence officer with the Decepticon, he wanted to search for the whereabouts of a human being on this planet. Difficulty equal to none. After hearing the news, Wong Quan took out a bloody silver pocket watch from his coat pocket and glanced at the current time. 30 minutes and 3 seconds. As expected of Cybertron, the premier intelligence officer, Wong Quan praised with satisfaction. Even Jean Bing, who is so powerful and known as the Underground Emperor, has nowhere to hide under the search of the laser bird. This safe house, hidden underground, was easily discovered. Black Widow. Wong Quan showed a cruel smile as he was about to give an order. In the night sky above, there was a roar. Caught Wong Quan's attention. A silver steel armor, clumsily adjusted its balance, landed on the street 30 meters away from Wong Quan. Iron Man. It's coming. Duh. 5. Go back half an hour ago. The disaster that happened in Hell's Kitchen left Tony speechless in shock. He watched the citizens screaming in the sea of fire, as well as the demonic robot insects, wandering in the city, destroying everywhere. If he used to be, at the moment will turn off the TV without hesitation, so as not to spoil your good mood. But the 3 months he was imprisoned in the cave made him realize what human suffering is. The weapons dealer who once had his hands full of sins came up with the crazy idea of saving the world. This steel battle suit, being developed, is the carrier of this dream. The screams from the TV became more and more clear. Tony clenched his fists hard and stared at the steel battle suit, his eyes gradually becoming resolute. A sense of mission arises spontaneously. JRVS, immediately loaded with weapons for Mark II. It's the hero's turn. Tony gave instructions to his smart housekeeper that he couldn't just watch the tragedy happen and do nothing. JRVS. Sir, the Mark II has been power tested. JRVS. For your safety. Smart butler, JRVS, reminds Tony intimately that, as an artificial intelligence, it believes in real data more than illusory miracles. But its powerful creator obviously didn't intend to listen to its nagging. JRVS, this is an order. Ending this disaster is the beginning of changing my destiny. Tony interrupted JRVS's advice and focused almost all his attention on the steel armor in front of him. This is his masterpiece, leading the current world, at least the level of several decades. This arrogant genius who was touted as an alter has always believed that he is the smartest and most perfect person in the world. Only, Tony overestimated himself and underestimated his opponent. Iron Man at the moment didn't realize at all what a terrifying monster the enemy he will face next will be. Time back to the present. Under the dusky night sky, the hot air was filled with choking gunpowder smoke. After landing, Tony raised his arms confidently and locked onto Wong Quan in front of him. His intuition told him that the black-haired youth in front of him was the source of all these crises. As long as he can be defeated, this crisis can be resolved. The atmosphere at the scene dropped to freezing point for a while. The pulse cannon between Tony's palms quickly completed charging, emitting a dazzling white light. The shape-shifting of the miniature missile pod on the shoulder armor unfolded, and dozens of red dots locked onto Wong Quan's body. Energy attack. Physical attack. The combined power of the two can even destroy a building in an instant. Give you 3 seconds to stop these monsters. Otherwise, your head will bloom. Tony, who thought he had the absolute advantage, confidently said a warning. That arrogant and mocking tone was somewhat contemptuous. Compared to those terrifying robot insects, the Black Widow guarding Wong Quan, that slender body is more like a fragile artwork. It looks not much power, so Tony firmly believes that, as long as the target in front of you is controlled before the robot insect arrives, this crisis can be ended. But let Iron Man, what he didn't expect was, Wong Quan, who was at an absolute disadvantage, had a mocking smile on his face. A photon screen unfolded in front of Wong Quan, reporting new rewards. You have become hostile to Iron Man. Congratulations, trigger the reward. You have obtained the level 1 reward. At stance. At position, the absolute domain that cuts the self from the world, with extremely terrifying protection ability. The sudden appearance of the system reward aroused Wong Quan's great curiosity. Even let him ignore it, Iron Man in front of him. Hint. If you come into contact with important people and have a relationship, you can get system rewards. Hint. Special important people can trigger stage rewards. Hint. Iron Man's final reward is Cyborg 18. 6. Under night. The mocking smile on Wong Quan's face aroused Iron Man's killing intent. Iron Man, who was originally a weapon dealer, was quick to take action. 36 miniature missiles, dragging brilliant blood-colored flames, fly to Wong Quan dozens of meters away at a speed close to the speed of sound. The sudden blow made Black Widow's expression instantly hideous, just as she stretched her alloy spider legs, preparing to resist the missile attack. An invisible force, like a heavy hammer. The Black Widow, who was caught off guard, was repelled by nearly 100 meters, and he fell into the ruins in embarrassment. Next moment, the roar of the explosion sounded instantly. The place where Wong Quan was before had already raised a lot of dust. "Your Majesty Wong Quan," the eager Black Widow suddenly exclaimed. As an ambitious conspirator, she is well aware of the importance of Wong Quan. His life is connected to Cybertron, to the sparks of countless shape-shifting King Kong. If the life of Wong Quan is gone, it would be an unimaginable disaster for them. "So sorry. After you died, I learned your name from your subordinates. But as the first opponent of superhero, you have the value of being commemorated." Tony in the steel battle suit joked complacently. He has absolute confidence in the advanced weapons of Stark Industries. No one can withstand a continuous explosion like a torrential rain with only flesh and blood. But, almost at the end of these words, the next second, a ferocious claw grabbed Iron Man and slammed it on the wet and cold ground. Boom! The sudden attack made even the ground tremble. Despite the protection of the steel battle suit, Tony's body was still hit hard, and his eyes became dull. Mind goes blank. Amidst the harsh siren of the steel battle suit, only the intelligent butler JRVS is left, constantly sounding the alarm. Warning: broken outer armor. The left sternum is damaged. The left leg is broken. The left arm is broken. A minor concussion has been detected, and it is recommended that you seek medical attention as soon as possible, whether it's strength or size. As shape-shifting King Kong robot insects, they all have absolute advantages. Not dying on impact is enough to prove the protectiveness of a steel battle suit. "Damn, these monsters, what the hell?" A weak voice sounded from within the steel battle suit. Coughing up blood, Tony, shaking his groggy head, propped up his aching body, trying to drive his steel battle suit. But instead it was ridicule. For this Cybertron of the distant Superman-like civilization, Tony's steel armor is just a sturdy little toy. In less than half a minute, the steel battle suit attached to Tony was brutally dismantled into a pool of scrap metal by the robot insects. However, for Tony, the real horror is just beginning. From the rising smoke, I suddenly remembered a playful joke. "Is this your limit? Your iron ability is more incompetent than I expected." At the same time as the sound, a tall figure walked out of the smoke with steady steps. The firepower that can destroy a building in an instant. But it failed to leave even a wisp of dust on Wong Quan's black coat. This is the terror defense ability called At Stand, aka Absolute Horror Field. It can withstand the attacks of almost all conventional weapons, including nuclear bombs. Tony, who was flesh and blood, was thrown to the ground by the robot insect. If it wasn't for the master's order, it would have been a dozen or so meters tall robotic insects. It is no more difficult to kill a human than to kill a mouse. Impossible. How could you survive under such firepower? Tony, who fell to the ground, struggled to sit up and asked with a blank face. But Wong Quan, who walked up to Tony, had no interest in answering his question. Wong Quan squatted on the ground and brushed Tony's cheeks with his clean wide palms. At his neck, a threatening action of beheading was made. Tony's face turned even paler. For him now, the situation is completely out of control. "You should really see what you look like now. Ridiculous, pathetic, pathetic." Tony Stark. Wong Quan sighed complexly, and complex mockery flashed in his eyes. He is a master who will pay revenge and will never let his enemies go. But the current situation, compared with a worthless corpse, a living Iron Man can bring him more benefits. After all, that's robot number 18. Collect the perfect masterpiece of beauty and power. Even in the American comics multi-universe, it is a powerhouse that should not be underestimated. Therefore, no matter what the cost, Wong Quan will also be full of Iron Man's hatred in a short period of time to get the final reward. 7. On site, Tony, who lost his ability to fight, still had sharp eyes. I'm just not ready. Otherwise, I will never lose tonight, Tony said unwillingly, his trembling voice, with a bit of humiliated anger. He couldn't accept such a cruel reality, and at the same time he knew that waiting for his ending. Only death. I didn't expect such a childish speech to come out of your mouth. Wong Quan sighed helplessly. This is not like superhero speech. To make Iron Man remember tonight more deeply, Wong Quan decided to give him an unforgettable memory. Wong Quan squeezed it with a smile, and Tony's thumb was pushed up. The crisp sound of fractures sounded immediately. What? The severe pain caused Tony to let out a hoarse scream, and his already embarrassed face became even more pale and helpless. It's just a small warning. Tony Stark, you have to know yourself. After a small punishment, Wong Quan got up from the ground, took the handkerchief handed by Robot Insect, and wiped the blood on his hands. He turned his gaze to Black Widow, who was still in shock, and motioned her to transform into a vehicle form. Black Widow, who received the order, did not dare to neglect it all. I saw her jumping up from the ruins, and in midair, shape-shifting into a black gunship. Neat. Before boarding the helicopter, Wong Quan glanced at Tony behind him and reminded kindly, continue to be your rich man and stop dreaming of being a hero. Otherwise, next time, I won't be so lucky. Wong Quan warned Tony indifferently. He threw the white handkerchief on the ground beside Tony so he could use it to stop the bleeding. This is also the last bit of kindness left by Wong Quan after awakening to the Iron Man. Then, under Tony's unwilling gaze, Black Widow transformed into a gunship. The wings turned, humming loudly, and sailed into the night sky in the distance. Then, the robot insects scattered in the city and wreaking havoc were also ordered to retreat. Among the survivors, looking up in horror, this group of demons from hell once again shape-shifted into unicorns. Waving insect wings, guarding the gunship, they disappeared into the night together. This horrible nightmare is finally over. But everyone knows that this is just the beginning of the tragedy. Lying in the rubble, Tony curled up, trying to make himself more comfortable. The pale face and bloodshot eyes were full of unwillingness. We will see you again. Wong Quan. Resisting the severe pain in his body, he still called out the man's name. The enmity between the two also officially ended from this moment. At the same time, the night sky thousands of meters above the ground. Another photon screen is displayed in front of Wong Quan. Iron Man's attitude towards you has changed from hostility to hatred. Congratulations, trigger the reward. You have received the second stage reward, Hive Base. Hive Base, located deep underground, the labyrinth-like Doomsday Fortress is the biochemical laboratory of the Umbrella Company. Hint, you can place it anywhere in the current world, Honeycomb. Seeing this familiar underground base, Wong Quan remembered the plot in Resident Evil. Even in the desperate zombie world, this is still one of the safest places in the world. Even under the frontal attack of the nuclear bomb, it can still function normally. No doubt, there is no better temporary underground base than the Hive. How far is it from Jean Bing's hiding place? Wong Quan waved his hand, turned off the system screen, and asked Black Widow, please be patient for a few minutes. This is already my fastest flight speed. Black Widow spoke a little embarrassedly, and the awe between the words was a little more than before. She doesn't understand what an apt position is, but I can faintly perceive that the power is terrifying. I'm afraid that even the previous leader, Megatron, can't do any damage. Yes, it's really exciting. Wong Quan replied thoughtfully, his half-squinted black eyes flashing with a cruel look. With the lessons of Iron Man, let him be full of expectations for Jean Bing, the supervillain who runs through Spider-Man. Don't know the dead gold and what level of system reward can he reveal for him? 8. Wealthy suburb. The top floor of a skyscraper. The giant LCD TV is reporting the tragedy in Hell's Kitchen. The strong, bald man in a white suit raised his hand with a gloomy expression and took the cigar handed by his subordinate. Boss, do you want me to kill them? A sinister voice resembling a viper sounded from the shadows in the corner. A man wearing a black leather jacket and a bullseye hood appeared in front of Kim Bing. As the boss, the most powerful subordinate, Bullseye is quite confident in his ability. But, hearing his words, The burly bald man couldn't help but sneer. As the underground emperor of twisting, he can be regarded as someone who has seen file size. That metal monster, at least until tonight. Jean Bing firmly believes that they will only appear in science fiction movies. Do it. Only you can kill those monsters. Jean Bien took a cigar, and a look of sternness flashed across his angry face. Perhaps because of the sympathy between the villains, he has an inexplicable sense of crisis. Those terrifying monsters are coming for him. As long as those monsters are controlled, there must be weaknesses. Boss, don't you believe in my ability? Bullseye retorted in disapproval. But in the end, Jean Bing waved his hand in disgust. After understanding what the boss meant, Bullseye had no choice but to step back respectfully, even if he was reluctant. But at the time of Bullseye, full of unwillingness to turn around, a dazzling bright light lit from outside the window. In an instant, the gorgeous purple light cannon penetrated the bulletproof glass and instantly evaporated the upper body of the Bullseye, the villain who was so outspoken just a second ago. At this moment, only half of the charred corpse was left, and it fell in front of Jean Bing. Then, a ferocious robot insect smashed the cracked bulletproof glass and broke into Jean Bing's office. In Jean Bing's shocked eyes, he reorganized, shape-shifting into a giant form. It is moving sharp claws, and it makes a hoarse roar at the target in front of it. Puff! Jean and the cigar in his hand fell to the ground, splashing sporadic sparks. The underground emperor of Twisting City never imagined that the enemy's offensive would be so fast. The roar of the helicopter sounded from the outside. As the cabin door opened, a black-haired youth in a black coat jumped up from the cabin. He landed firmly on the ground and appeared in front of Jean Bing. "Good evening, Mr. Kim." Wang Quan stared at the strong, bald man in front of him with a hypocritical politeness. But the murderous intent hidden in those cold eyes, even a character like Jean Bing, trembled subconsciously. "Your Excellency is visiting late at night. What are you planning to do? Could it be that some ignorant idiot in my organization offended you?" The alert Jean Bing pretended to be kind, just like a kind elder, trying to relieve the tense atmosphere of the scene by conveying kindness. To this, Wang Quan just smiled kindly. "Say it, you may not believe it. Just now, your people tried to take my kidney and trade it on the black market. So, I'm going to let you feel the same way. What do you think?" In a mocking tone, Wang Quan said the fact that Jean Bing almost fainted. After knowing what happened, Jean Bien angrily hammered at the table in front of him. "These filthy idiots dare to do such a thing. I'll vent my anger for your Excellency and send someone to peel him off." Jean Pang cursed indignantly, "Those incompetent idiots," and made a gesture of venting his anger for Wang Quan. "I want to establish the image of good big brother in this young man's heart, because he knew very well that he could never be the opponent of this group of steel monsters alone. Bullseye's tragic end is the best example. But Kim never imagined that. The young man in front of him, having read his profile, knows his life like the back of the hand. Seeing through at a glance, Jean Bien tried to call the outside world for help. Therefore, just when Jean Bing raised his wide right hand, he tried to grab the phone. A mass of white cobwebs flew out from behind Wang Quan, forcibly fixed Jean Bien's right hand on the table. Let him use all his strength, he can't break free. Rest assured. My knife, but soon. Black Widow, who was shape-shifted into a spider form, used a deep magnetic voice to soothe the prey in front of him. On the evil face, there is an excited smile. As a huntress, she can't wait to harvest the life of her prey. "What are you doing? Quick, let me go. What we can talk about, tell us your conditions." Jean Ning, who realized that something was wrong, finally started to panic. He never imagined the other party will have such a strong hostility to him because of this small friction. Another cobweb flew out, blocking Jean Bing's mouth, preventing him from speaking. Jean Bien stared at Black Widow, who was getting closer, and he could only look at Wang Quan eagerly. He is willing to pay a certain amount of compensation to appease this young man's anger. But, at the moment, Wang Quan raised his index finger and put it on his raised lips. "Shoo. During the operation, you can't yell and scream. 9. No anesthetic, no operating table. Like the roar of a dying male lion before he dies." Jean Bien ushered in the end of his life in a roar of pain. Black Widow is not a great surgeon, she is more of a cruel butcher. In a few short minutes, Jean Ning, who was disemboweled, can be said to have suffered all kinds of torture, so much so that Jean Bing's face, which was already abominable, became even more hideous after death. Even evil spirits from hell will shudder. But for Black Widow's work, Wong Quan is very satisfied. The hatred of dripping water should be repaid by the fountain. This is his life creed. Just as Wong Quan, having admired the masterpiece in front of him, motioned Black Widow to dispose of the corpse, a predator drone flew into the interior of the hall from a broken window, in Wong Quan's gaze, shape-shifting into a sound wave. "Sonic, you came just in time. Call me Jean and all the information." Wong Quan pointed to the computer on the table and issued a new order to Sonic. The encrypted files in the computer record Jean Bing's organizational power, as well as gold and all asset information. The previous underground emperor had died, and naturally a new successor was needed. In this Sin City, there is no more suitable person than Wong Quan. "Executing orders, Commander," Sonic replied respectfully. Two dark blue alloy claws, from the ribs of the sound wave, quickly derived outwards and connected to the inside of the computer. Those encrypted files were cracked instantly. Countless important information was carefully screened. After a minute, "Commander, the data has been filtered. Belonging to Jean Bing Group, involving the transaction chain, a total of 414 people." The sound wave projected a virtual screen and displayed pictures of people and their detailed addresses in front of Wong Quan. Wong Quan stared at these photos with a frighteningly indifferent expression. The gate that took him to the underground clinic was among the 400 people. "Kill," Wong Quan ordered coldly. He would rather kill everyone than let the enemy go. After all, in this perilous American comics universe, only the ruthless will have the last laugh. Especially in the early stage when the foundation is unstable, let's not be indecisive. After his order, Black Widow took courage and reminded kindly, "His Majesty, we are short-staffed now, and if we send robot insects, all of them will be sent out. Then for your safety, I'm afraid." Black Widow reminded kindly, "After all, what they have done before has attracted considerable attention. If it continues, I am afraid to face the risk of war." But Wong Quan doesn't care at all. "Sonic, contact Cybertron immediately. Let the space bridge open over there and send more Decepticons. Black Widow, lead the robotic insects to destroy this group of bugs. I want to hear your results before dawn." Wong Quan waved his hand strongly to stop the discordant voices present. Wong Quan, who shows his heroic qualities, looks like the former leader. As ordered, Black Widow dared not continue to persuade, and could only accept the task honestly. He grabbed Kimpio's body and left the building with the robot insect. Sound waves also began to send interstellar communications to contact their parent stars light years away. Sudden, a communication from the laser bird interrupted Sonic's actions. After receiving the news, Sonic looked at Wong Quan solemnly. "Commander, Laserbird has a situation report. This is a scene from the scene." As soon as Sonic's voice fell, a video was played through the photon screen. In ruins, seriously injured Tony curled up. Sudden, an advanced Quinjet hovered right above the ruins. A group of well-trained agents, dangling from the fighter plane, performed first-aid work. After, a group of agents, carrying stretchers, boarded the fighter plane again. Quinjet turned on the light and shadow camouflage, which seemed to disappear out of thin air, evading the detection of the laser bird, and did not know where to fly. "Commander, a mysterious force has taken your enemy. Need to let the laser bird continue to track and investigate." This mysterious force only appeared in a few minutes. However, the advanced technology it holds is ahead of the current level, which is extremely abrupt. The alert Soundwave felt that this matter was not simple. So, he chose to report to the leader at the first time. "Shield. Stark, but only a few broken bones. I didn't expect these cunning mice to be unable to sit still so quickly." Wong Quan sneered and said contemptuously. At the same time, a bloody photon screen unfolded in front of him. "You have become hostile to SHIELD. Congratulations, trigger the reward. You have obtained the Level 1 reward, League of Assassins. Assassin League, a mysterious organization formed by a group of powerful shadow warriors, controls the holy place called Lazarus Pool. Lazarus's Pool. After soaking, it can increase the strength of the body and obtain a very strong self-healing ability and almost immortal life. 10. On Quinjet. The patient needs to clean the wound, and I need more saline. Multiple fractures were detected and must be set immediately. Help me hold him down. A 10-person medical team was methodically treating Tony's wounds. Nick Fury, dressed in black, stood in front of the operating table, staring at the embarrassed Tony, and couldn't help thinking, "Who are you?" Tony endured the pain, looked at the black man in front of him, and asked with a puzzled look, "Directorate of Homeland Strategic Defense Attack and Logistics Support, shortly called SHIELD." Nick Fury answered Tony's question, glancing at his swollen thumb, frowning deeper and deeper. "Mr. Stark, I heard. You flew in from California in some kind of steel battle suit. So, I can understand it as, do you have a direct relationship with this vicious attack incident?" Nick Fury's tone began to turn bad. Even the dark face is a little more gloomy. In his opinion, only the man in front of him can create such a terrifying monster. But Nick Fury, destined to be disappointed. Tony, who has always been defiant, showed a miserable wry smile. "You overestimate me. That group of disgusting monsters has a lot of intelligence. Have your own thinking ability, which is not inferior to the emotional function of human beings. It is not something that can be created at the current level of technology. It's like God created another life race. If it wasn't for a black-haired youth who led them, I would doubt that they have their own civilization." Tony grumbled bitterly. Even he himself was frightened by this crazy idea. Black-haired youth. Can you still remember what he looked like? The sly Nick Fury was immediately intrigued. As long as some clues can be obtained, SHIELD will definitely have a way to catch this behind the scenes. His name is Wong Quan. Age, no more than 20 years old. Tony recalled Wong Quan's appearance, his previous failures, and the stigma that came to his mind. He stopped sending information about Wong Quan to Nick Fury, because this is his own grudge. He wants to develop a new type of armor and defeat that man with his own hands. Escort Wong Quan and his robot insects to the twisting prison. All right. Phil Coulson, agent, will take you home. Nick Fury sighed. Given the current state of Tony Stark, he couldn't force him to question it. At this time, the intelligence officer in charge of gathering the information passed on the latest bombing incident to Nick Fury. The building of the big philanthropist Mr. Kim and was attacked by machine insects. Jean Bing's body has been dismembered. Hanging on the torch of the Statue of Liberty, it is being reported by many media. Wong Quan. Nick Fury's face became even more ugly. He inspected the agents at the scene and realized that this incident was no longer a group of rookies and could be solved. He turned around angrily and left the operating room. Nick Fury adjusted the signal frequency of the Bluetooth headset and sent the latest command to one of his most trusted agents. "Natasha Romanoff, I want you to get out now, at all costs, and in the shortest possible time," lurking beside Wong Quan, the other side. Inside Kim's mansion, Wong Quan was lying on the blood-stained seat, his feet sluggishly knocking on the desk. Looking down with interest, the man who was kneeling on one knee with a look of awe. Reza Gu, nickname, Master Ninja, leader of the League of Assassins. The first man to discover the Lazarus Pool, has lived to be 700 years old so far. Powerful and wily. His minions are all over the world, and there are almost no secrets he doesn't know. Because of the rewards of the system, let him and the mysterious Assassin Alliance be born in this world. And because of the shackles of the system, the man in front of him has absolutely no intention of betrayal. So, in perception to Wong Quan, when you need help, he appeared in front of Wong Quan at the fastest speed. "Leshugu, tell me the location of the Lazarus Pool." Wong Quan did not greet the Lei Xiaogu in front of him, but gave orders straight to the point. "My lord, the location of the Lazarus Pool is a little too far from your current location. Considering that it's getting late, please take a special plane tomorrow." Lei Xiaogu replied thoughtfully, but these words were forcibly interrupted by Wong Quan's laughter. "Huh? Who do you think I am? Just tell the location and leave the rest to Sonic." Wong Quan sneered contemptuously and turned his gaze to Sonic. Soundwave has the ability to open the land bridge. As long as there are specific coordinates, it can be teleported. To put it more bluntly, it is space teleportation. All right. Lei Xiaogu smiled helplessly and looked deeply at the direction of the sound wave. As an assassin's instinct, it is giving a crazy warning at this moment. The big piece that this alloy pieced together is far more dangerous than it looks. If the Assassin League, led by him, can no longer achieve considerable profits in a short period of time, it is very likely that with the passage of time, it will be completely forgotten by this Lord Wong Quan. Therefore, he has to hurry up and do something. 11. Summer. A cave in a remote area. A swirling portal appeared out of thin air, attracting the attention of the guards. But when the guards saw Wong Quan coming out from the inside, they all got down on one knee. "See your lord." The neat and uniform voice revealed a solemn suffocation. This group of elite guards, after a long period of training, has combat power close to the limit of human beings and is proficient in stealth and assassination. Even high-level agents face them. In the end, there is only one dead end. And they, like Master Ninja, they are loyal to Wong Quan and have no second thoughts. Good. Wong Quan looked at the guards in front of him and smiled in approval. He glanced at the dilapidated karst cave again, turned his gaze to Lei Xiaogu behind him, and gave an order plainly. "Let these lads pack up. Starting today, you will be relocated to a new base. The technology from Cybertron will create indestructible metal gear for you, and gene-strengthening agents. It can make all of you a true super soldier." In a plain tone, Wong Quan made a rich promise to this group of assassins who were loyal to him that made everyone stunned. Although there are systematic constraints, he knows how to control people. Only enough benefits can be exchanged for good returns. Everyone headed by Lexiagu. After hearing this promise again, they all shed tears of excitement. Scholar die for the confidant. There is no more gratifying reward than getting the attention of this adult. Assassin League, I would like to give my life for you. Led by Lei Xiaogu, all the guards are kneeling on one knee at this moment and swore excitedly. For a time, Wong Quan's reputation in the Assassin League was pushed to the top. Wong Quan laughed proudly, walked towards the location of the Lazarus Pool. What awaits Wong Quan ahead will be another metamorphosis. Pool of Lazarus. Lei Xiaogu dispersed all the guards, including himself, and stepped back respectfully. In the dark space, only Wong Quan was left. Just as he was about to take off his clothes, a cold female voice came to mind from behind him. "Sir, this is the new clothes we have prepared for you. Please let me change your clothes." The cold voice sounded very pleasant, with a bit of awe, but more of it was curious. Wong Quan raised his brows and looked back at the beautiful woman behind him. In just an instant, she guessed her identity. Devil's daughter. Talia Elgar. She is Lei Xiaogu's daughter, and the reason why she appeared here is obviously the meaning of the old fox. This demon's daughter is dressed in black veil. His long black wavy hair covered half of his face, exuding a lazy atmosphere. But Wong Quan did not despise her because of her beautiful appearance. A world-class fighter, not inferior to the assassin of Master Ninja. Without the protection of the app position, she has at least 100 ways to kill Wong Quan easily. "It is good," Wong Quan replied with a smile, not rejecting her. With the help of this daughter of demons, she took off her black coat and walked into the pool of Lazarus. The diluted Bacchus factor has been detected, and the system is purifying. Bacchus factor is integrating with you. Congratulations. Obtained super endurance. Congratulations. Received super self-healing. Congratulations. Obtained immortality trait. Messages popped up quickly, and Wong Quan showed a comfortable expression. The wound on the wrist, at a speed visible to the naked eye, once again recovered as before. Not only that, Wong Quan, who was originally an ordinary body, the excess fat on the body, under the transformation of the Bacchus factor, becomes a strong muscle enough for the opposite S*X to scream. Wong Quan, who was half lying in the pool of Lazarus, at the moment showed a posture like an ancient god sculpture. And to the outside world, witnessing everything, the devil's daughter covered her mouth in horror. Under the terrifying pressure like a demon king, She slumped weakly by the pool, breathing tremblingly. If the previous Wang Quan was a cold-blooded tyrant, then at the moment, he is Mephisto from hell. Ever since I can remember, no man has brought her such an experience. The daughter of the devil, who has made countless people terrified, has tasted love for the first time from this moment. She fell in love with the man in front of her. 12. For a long time. When perception reaches the Lazarus pool, it cannot be used after strengthening the body. Wang Quan was rather disappointed, got up from the pool, and walked towards the blushing little devil's daughter. Tao. Wang Quan coldly ordered that he was very satisfied with the body shape after metamorphosis. Talia did not dare to resist, and immediately offered the towel in both hands. Then, with the help of Talia, Wang Quan put on a brand new black trench coat and appeared in front of Rexiegu and others again. Lei Xiaogu was a little anxious when he saw Wang Quan coming out so soon. "Sir, won't you soak for a while?" Lei Xiaogu sincerely persuaded. No one knows better than him the powerful magic of the pool of Lazarus. The longer you run, the more obvious the strengthening of your body. "No need," Wang Quan replied with a sigh. "The strengthening of the Dionysian factor has reached its limit. If you want to continue to become stronger, you can only use other means. For example, inside the hive base, the T-virus that has been successfully developed." "Yes, that's really a pity." Lei Xiaogu sighed bitterly. It seems that this adult's expectations have surpassed the improvement brought by Lazarus Pool. But if the Assassin Alliance can follow such a visionary monarch, he will surely be able to realize his long-term wish in his lifetime. Build a world of absolute justice. Lei Xiaogu, during this period, you and your people should clean up. When I take over Jinbing's power, I will let Sonic contact you. Wang Quan patted Lei Xiaogu on the shoulder, and then looked at Talia, whose cheeks were blushing, with a hint of a smile. "I always want to show up in front of people. Decepticons, some are too eye-catching. Why don't you let Talia be my personal bodyguard?" Wang Quan stated his purpose. Everyone has the love of beauty, and naturally he will not be exempt from the custom. Talia has a good impression on him. Then he will never let go. That's really good. Talia is the second female assassin after Ms. Shiva. Every ability is no worse than me. I can breathe a sigh of relief as she protects you comprehensively. Lei Xiaogu explained with a smile, almost showing the fox's tail. It is undoubtedly a great joy for the Assassin Alliance to be able to place a trusted confidant beside this lord. There is an old saying in the ancient Daxia. One person becomes immortal, chicken and dog ascend to heaven. The Assassin League, used to describe at the moment, is simply appropriate. That's good. Wang Quan showed a satisfied smile and waved at the excited daughter of demons. Together with the sound waves waiting for him, he returned to New York once again through the opened portal. Considering the next big thing, there is no better place to be an outpost than this city. In a few hours, tonight's twist is destined to be spent in the fire of war. Black Widow and robot insects launched a crazy attack on the local black organization. In front of these mechanical monsters, ordinary weapons can't even leave a scratch. Especially after Jinbing's body was exposed by the media. All organizations are aware of it. This Sin City is about to usher in a new emperor. Wealthy suburb. In a private villa in Jinbian. The claws extending out of the sound waves are connected to a laptop. The inheritance of Jinbian has been transferred to your name through legal means. The leader of the file-size organization has been contacted, and I will come to meet you tomorrow morning. Considering your health, please enter sleep mode. Commander, the sound of sound waves echoed in the living room. Well done. Wang Quan applauded with satisfaction. The human internet, for sound waves, is unimpeded. Any security loopholes will undoubtedly be revealed in front of Sonic. Say it without hesitation. The civilization gap between Blue Star and Cybertron is at least several thousand years. It's enough to turn Sonic into a god of the cyber world. Feel free to modify and even control everything. And the end result is completely in line with the law. Then, let me congratulate you first. Your Majesty the Emperor. Talia opened a bottle of top champagne and celebrated Wang Quan from the heart. I like the name. Wang Quan took the wine glass that Talia handed over, held her hand, and embraced her. Drain the wine in the glass in one go. The hatred in the backlog is now dissipated. Wang Quan, who was all at ease, laughed heartily and wildly until Leah's exclamation. Then, a portal opened in front of him. There were bursts of roaring sounds from the inside of this portal. Soon, a black-gray Decepticon with a flattering smile appeared in front of Wang Quan. Starscream. He came. 13. Starscream. The previous leader, the first adjutant under his command. The cunning and vicious nature makes him possess excellent wisdom, and he has always played the role of a conspirator. Therefore, under the current circumstances, Starscream can be considered a talent worth using. A black-gray red spider with a height of at least 10 meters. The slender body reveals a fatal danger. After he walked out of the portal, he respectfully knelt on one knee and said flatteringly, Starscream, Sea Lord Commander, you are more wise and handsome than I thought. Starscream rolled his shrewd eyes, complimenting the leader in front of him with every human word he could imagine. But Wang Quan gave him a pair of blank eyes and asked impatiently, Why only you? Wang Quan's voice was somewhat angry. As a traveler, he knew very well that within the Decepticons, only the most vicious and brutal powerhouses were qualified to be leaders. Therefore, compared with the promised benefits, these Decepticons believe in force more. As predicted, when he heard the anger in Wang Quan's words, Starscream's body froze for a moment, and even the tone of his words showed a bit of awe. You misunderstood, Your Majesty. I just didn't want you to be too conspicuous, so I went alone. But the most elite troops of the Decepticons have been assembled. As long as you need them, they can come over immediately. Starscream quickly explained, if it weren't for the body made of steel alloy. I'm afraid he's already sweating like rain by now. Yes. What about the shockwave? Why didn't I come with you? I can perceive his tinder. It's in a healthy state. Wang Quan sneered and continued to ask. Without giving Starscream the slightest chance to breathe, it is bound to be eradicated, his superfluous thoughts. To know, Wang Quan is not Megatron. The biggest gap between the two is not the disparity in power. It is Wang Quan, who is connected to the spirit of Cybertron and holds the fire of all mechanical life forms. The idiot who dares to disobey his orders has no choice but to die. Please calm down. Shockwave, an important experiment, is underway. At present, this experiment has been carried out to the final stage, and I really can't take it off. But he has a gift for me to dedicate to you. Starscream explained hastily, and a little flustered. He took out a box from the core of his chest and presented it to Wang Quan respectfully. Gift. Wang Quan showed a curious smile, touched his smooth chin, and had a look of anticipation in his eyes. Box opens. A pair of black, mechanical armor made Wang Quan frown in confusion. Seeing this, Starscream immediately explained, Your Majesty, don't be angry. Listen to me first and explain it to you. This is an iron castle relic called magnetic gloves. The role is to control the magnetic field within 1 kilometer, freely attract or repel metal objects around you. In consideration of your human body, Your Majesty, we deliberately used memory metal and nanotechnology. As long as you have it in your hands, you are the king of thousands of magnetic forces. Those vehicles driving on the streets, or high-rise buildings rising from the ground, you can control them freely like stacking blocks. Starscream blinked flatteringly, a forced smile on her face. If it wasn't for the time, it would be too rushed. The scientific research staff of the Decepticons will definitely be under the command of the Shockwave. Forge stronger equipment to please His Majesty Wang Quan. Magnetic gloves. The king of thousands of magnetic forces. This piece of equipment seems very interesting. Wang Quan smiled expectantly and put the 2 mechanical armors on his hands and looked at them carefully. A brilliant golden glare lit up from the robotic armor. Golden glare with black alloy paint, quite a bit of alloy gear style. Good, but I deserve better. Wang Quan thought of the hammer of heaven's chosen that he obtained when he used the awakening system before. This equipment, it is extraordinary. Containing the energy of neutron stars, it is an artifact created by combining the technology of Cybertron and the magic power bestowed by Yuan Shi Tianzuan. The holder is Cai Tianjiao, one of the 13 apostles. Cybertron has been the weapon of all apostles since its birth, including these, the mighty Iron Fortress relic. They are all masterpieces made by Cai Tianjiao with this hammer. Not only that, if it is in the hands of the apostle, you can also make any material into a value-for-money equipment, such as Megatron's Dark Star Sword. Another example is to give the dying Optimus Prime more powerful combat power. Even give ordinary shape-shifting diamonds the ability to combine shape-shifting. For Wang Quan, the entire Cybertron is his private property. Naturally have the authority to use this artifact. Consider the big events that will take place a few years later, for your own safety, but also in order to be able to participate in it, to obtain greater benefits. From now on, Wang Quan must hurry up. Use this Hammer of Heaven's Chosen to create a stronger weapon for yourself. Just from this pair of magnetic gloves starts to upgrade. 14. The next morning, Black Widow led the robot insect back to the villa where Wang Quan was. My lord, all targets have been cleared. Black Widow reported proudly and looked forward to praise from Wang Quan. But a burst of unintelligible laughter sounded from the house first. Black Widow, you've fallen. When did you exterminate a few humans and take credit? Starscream's voice echoed from within the room. Starscream, who is temporarily serving as the first adjutant, has a proud face of a villain and can't wait to lift his head to the back of his head. Starscream, why are you here? Black Widow's face immediately turned hideous. After quickly shape-shifting into a spider form, he put on a posture that he was going to tear up the red spider. Starscream didn't give in and directly locked the missile on Black Widow's head. As long as this crazy woman dares to take a step forward, just let her head bloom. Right at the moment, an indifferent scolding sounded from the house, stopping the infighting between the two. Stop! I asked you to assist me, not to make you grand. Starscream. There was dissatisfaction with Starscream in Wang Quan's voice. Leaving aside the various abilities of Black Widow and the powerful combat power of robotic insects. Just because this woman has saved Wang Quan's life, she is destined to have a place in Wang Quan's heart. Wang Quan is not a person who favors one over another, and he will never forget this hero. Black Widow, starting today, you and Starscream are equal. The army of robotic insects, you are responsible for leading it. You don't have to obey anyone's orders except me. In front of Starscream, Wang Quan announced the appointment of Black Widow on the spot. Black Widow was sluggish for a moment, then showed an excited smile. Follow your orders, His Majesty Wang Quan. Black Widow replied gratefully and gave Starscream a contemptuous sneer. But soon, the Decepticons face a new dilemma. They are more than 10 meters in size and weigh as many as dozens of tons, once they exceed double digits. Even this, a luxury villa worth hundreds of millions of dollars, seems a little cramped. Especially master gardeners, well-manicured lawns. When the robot insects step down, everything is gone. More importantly, these behemoths look very dazzling in the daytime. It is almost equivalent to telling the enemy that I was the mastermind last night. Therefore, the location of the hive base. It has become a major event that cannot be delayed. After realizing this, Wang Quan opened the system backpack and activated the hive base with this villa as the core. A slight tremor came from the feet of everyone, but in an instant, it disappeared without a trace. Wang Quan glanced at Starscream, then at Black Widow, and the group of robotic insects lying on the ground, baring their teeth at each other, and shook his head speechlessly. Sonic, open the land bridge. From today onwards, the hive base underground in this villa will be your temporary base. Wang Quan directly addressed the sound wave and gave the order. His Majesty Wang Quan, please let me protect your safety in the form of a vehicle. Starscream bent flatteringly, showing a far-fetched smile, trying to please the new owner. But what he got was a roll of eyes from Wang Quan. Starscream, you are such an idiot. Do you think your vehicle form is not conspicuous enough? Black Widow sneered ironically. Then, in front of Wang Quan, he reorganized shape-shifting into a purple-black super locomotive. This is the form of the vehicle scanned during her mission. Looking at the handsome locomotive in front of him, Wang Quan made no secret of his preferences. He stroked the beautiful body and praised with satisfaction. Very good. From today on, you will be my mount for the time being. Under Starscream's shocked expression, Wang Quan announced again. Then he ignored the two of them, returned to the house, and resumed his sleep. Drop. Black Widow, in the form of a vehicle, hummed the horn. In this way, mocking Starscream, such a stubborn Decepticon. Then, it drove into the garage and entered standby mode. At the same time, the portal of the sound wave has also been opened. One after another, the robot insects entered the portal in an orderly manner, leaving only the dejected Starscream, clenching his fists unhappily. He is a Decepticon who advocates freedom, and a fighter plane is the most ideal vehicle form. Even dead, Starscream will never drive on the ground like the Autobots. But what he can't do doesn't mean others can't do it. Badwoman, don't be complacent. As your Majesty, you deserve a better mount. Starscream showed a sinister smile, and he wanted to let Black Widow know who was more suitable for the position of First Adjutant. Who is this new master? The #1 celebrity under his command. Sonic, let Knockdown come over immediately. I believe Our Majesty will never refuse to own a supercar. 15. At the same time, the file-size organization active in the twisting contract at the moment is facing a difficult decision that determines fate. Just last night, at the same time, they received an email from a mysterious person named Wong Quan. Let them come to Jinbing's villa before 8 in the morning. After negotiating the gold together and dying, the territories of the various organizations are divided. Obviously, some people want to use this method to integrate the file-size organization and become the underground emperor of the city. For this news, the leaders of many organizations regard it as a joke. They were short-sighted and obviously did not realize that the mysterious person who sent the message was the leader of the group of steel monsters. Definitely, some people saw this meeting as an opportunity. Many small leaders who are not in the mainstream basically go with weapons. As long as you can kill this self-righteous joker at the party, you will definitely be able to establish your own prestige in front of other leaders. Time flies. The appointment time will come soon. A car parked in a parking space on the side of the road. The 13 file-size leaders walked out of the car together as if they had negotiated. These people come from different countries and represent different groups. White people in clothes and shoes represent the Black Hand organization. Hip-hop style blacks, local street thugs. Speak up first. As soon as that man appears, I will use this gun to blow his head off. A black leader pointed to the revolver pinned to the front of his belt with both hands, shaking his waist and making a comical appearance. It's like a chimpanzee smuggled out of a zoo. There was a burst of laughter at the scene, until a sharp roar of wind came flying from the villa. A pair of silver poison flying darts precisely pierced the black man's neck. The black leader, clutching his throat in pain, crouched and knelt on the ground. The purple poisonous blood gushed out from the neck and could not be stopped at all. He looked forward in horror. He opened his mouth hideously, but couldn't make any sound, because the poison flying darts destroyed his vocal cords at the moment of piercing. Puffed like a dead dog, the black leader, who had been extremely rampant before, collapsed on the street without resting his eyes. At the same time, Talia sneered and lowered her arms. Accompanying Wong Quan, he walked out of the villa and sneered disdainfully at the file-size leader in front of him. Died. The party hasn't even started yet. There has been bloodshed, and even a life has been lost. But Wong Quan doesn't care. The little boss who died was like trash thrown on the side of the road, without any value. Wong Quan took out a golden pocket watch from his arms. Looked at the above, the time displayed. 8:01. This group of leaders was more than a minute late than his stipulated time. Just as Wong Quan was about to speak, he reprimanded the group of people in front of him for being unruly. The black leaders in the crowd couldn't hold it in any longer. Damn, you be asterisk 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 D, what did you do? Seeing that his black companion died in the hands of the other party, the 3 black people present were instantly angry. They drew their weapons and pulled the trigger decisively. In an instant, the brilliant golden bullet, accompanied by the sputtering fire, spun out of the gun chamber. But what all the bosses did not expect was, the young man in front of them did not mean to dodge. Court death. Wong Quan showed a mocking smile and quickly raised his right hand. The black nanometal quickly attached to the right arm. Magnetic gloves, activate. The brilliant golden glare lit up from the black robotic arm armor. The magnetic field within a radius of 1 kilometer is controlled by Wong Quan. flying bullets, under the influence of magnetism. They all stopped in front of Wang Quan, unable to advance half a point. Such a bizarre scene made those black people show a horrified expression of hell. Damn it! What did this guy do? Super ability. He's a mutant. Kill him. Quickly kill him. The black leaders screamed in panic and fired the bullets in the magazines frantically. Intensive gunshots echoed in the empty streets. But there is no warhead that can break through the shackles of the magnetic field and cause damage to Wang Quan. A skinny black leader, seeing the situation is not good. Abandoning his companions without hesitation, he ran to the sports car parked on the side of the road, trying to escape the scene. But Wang Quan did not intend to spare his life. 30 bullets hovering in the air suddenly turned around and shot at the 3 black people who shot. 30 blood flowers bloom in the crowd. The 3 black leaders were beaten into sieves by bullets and fell to the ground almost at the same time. Until they were about to die, their faces still had expressions of horror on their faces. 3 more corpses. The rest of the leaders realized this. The black-haired youth in front of him is by no means a kind person. Today's party, I'm afraid it's not as easy to deal with as they expected. 16. Hot and humid blood flowed along the icy ground. A horrifying pool of blood was formed under the feet of the remaining white leaders. The atmosphere at the scene became extremely solemn. Young man, we can talk about. A white old man wearing a black coat and smoking a cigar was the first to speak. He's a seasoned talker. In charge of the city, the largest black hand organization. Before Jean became famous, this white old man had already accumulated a certain prestige. Even when Jean Bing was still alive, give him a little bit of thin noodles. But Wang Quan was doomed to disappoint him. Wang Quan frowned and snapped his fingers in front of everyone. A black car fell from the sky, crushing the talking old man into a puddle of meat. The splattered minced meat splattered all around, causing bursts of screams. What I hate the most are the bastards who rely on the old and sell the old. Secondly, I'm so disgusted that someone interrupts me. Wang Quan sneered and reminded everyone that those violent eyes seemed to be looking for the next unlucky person. The previously chaotic scene immediately became silent. Wang Quan looked down at the group of soft heads in front of him who couldn't straighten their backs and continued in an indifferent tone. Last night, I ordered my subordinates, in my name, to distribute invitation letters to all the leaders of the organization in the city. However, only a few of you have come to the appointment. You should feel lucky that you saved the lives of your relatives and friends. Wang Quan showed a cruel smile to the remaining 8 people. After that, he clapped his hands, and a portal appeared beside him. The leader of the Assassin Alliance, Lei Xiaogu, appeared in front of everyone. Throw the loot from this morning in the direction of the 8 bosses. In the impact of the cheap backpack with the ground, a gap was cracked. A bloody right ear slipped out of the bag and scattered on the ground. The leaders at the scene felt physical discomfort and vomited on the spot. To this, Wang Quan explained with a sneer, the addresses of all of you and the hidden safe houses are recorded in Kim Bing's secret files. This is also the reason why I can contact you. Wang Quan clapped approvingly, and Lei Xiaogu's arm continued to explain to the confused crowd. At the same time the email is sent. As a capable subordinate, I sent elite shadow warriors to sneak into your home and wait for an opportunity. At 8 o'clock this morning, those who received invitations but did not attend the banquet. There is no need to live anymore. Wang Quan looked at the right ear scattered on the ground and let out a sneer of contempt. After that, his voice changed, and he continued to speak to the 8 leaders in front of him. As for you, you're a full minute late. Let me think about how to punish you, Wang Quan said with great interest, showing the tyrant's nature vividly and delicately. Under the constant intimidation, the 8 leaders at the scene had long lost their courage. The 8 leaders fell to the ground one after another, knocked his head in the cold pool of blood, and slammed it heavily on the hard concrete floor. With such a humiliating kneeling bow, I offered my loyalty to this young tyrant. From today onwards, you are my eagle dogs. In the days to come, the Assassin Alliance will assist you and annex the file-size force until it is completely under control, the city. And your code name is called Court. Go back. Before you go, remember to clean up the street. After giving the final order, Wang Quan returned to the villa with his hands on his back as everyone watched him. The reason why he recruited these bad guys was to become his subordinates. Not out of boredom, but because he has a very crazy plan. He wants to make Twisted Covenant into a simple and honest Gotham. Use this to get more hidden rewards. Wanted, Court of Owls, even Arkham Asylum. He wants to let organizations take root in this world, to spread fear and despair, and to affect major events in the future. Sudden, a photon screen unfolded in front of Wong Quan. Kill Jean Bien and become the underground emperor of Twisting Covenant. Congratulations for triggering the hidden reward. Congratulations on your title, King of Gotham. King of Gotham. 500% overall boost when you're in Gotham. 17. Noon. A white car drove into the villa where Wong Quan temporarily lived. Electronic surveillance, controlled by sound waves, instantly locks it. Natasha Romanoff, who was wearing a small black suit, adjusted the rearview mirror, and after looking around, he took his briefcase and walked out of the car. Small black high heels, sticking out from the compartment. As soon as she stepped on the ground, she hesitated. Wet ground, apparently just cleaned. The air was filled with the pungent smell of disinfectant, which gave her a very strange feeling. The owner who lives here seems to be covering up something terrible. As a seasoned Aegis agent, Natasha Romanoff immediately sensed something was wrong. This is the common method used by local black organizations when dealing with crime scenes. Before she comes, there must have been a murder here. Natasha Romanoff, I have a very bad feeling. Get in touch with Nick Fury today. Here is Natasha Romanoff. I have reached the coordinates. But the site has just been cleaned. Is this mission canceled? Natasha Romanoff whispered through a Bluetooth headset. Nick Fury behind the scenes. Natasha Romanoff, on your upper left, there is an electronic eye. I've been staring at you since just now. You've been locked. Avoid exposure. Please continue with the mission. Nick Fury's order sounded from the earphones. In view of Wong Quan, the strength shown last night, and the brutal crime committed, he has been listed as a dangerous person by SHIELD, and a secret investigation is launched. Through an overnight tracking, the intelligence department of SHIELD locked Wong Quan's residence through the address provided by Sonic on the internet. After much deliberation, Nick Fury made the decision. Send out the most elite agents, get close contact, and conduct more in-depth investigations. This is also one of the future Avengers Alliance 6. Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff. Why is here? Clear. Natasha Romanoff sighed and replied softly. As an agent, she has no freedom at all. Completing the tasks assigned by SHIELD is the meaning of her existence. After receiving the order, Natasha Romanoff took out the perfume from her handbag and sprayed it all around, just like an ordinary urban beauty. After making sure that there was no pungent odor on his body, he stepped forward and walked to the front of the villa. The crisp doorbell rang then. Hello, I'm Rushman Natalie Rushman from the firm. I hope you will formally sign the document on Mr. Jin's inheritance agreement. Natasha Romanoff's voice was transmitted into the villa through the intercom, but did not receive any response. In the kitchen, Talia, who was preparing lunch, stopped her work. As a professional assassin, she took out a kitchen knife, hid it behind her, and walked towards the door alertly. The door opens a crack. Talia watched the woman outside the house through the crack of the door warily. The master is on a lunch break and doesn't want to be disturbed by anyone. Miss Roshman, I hope you understand. The master will contact you if needed. Talia's voice fell, and she was about to close the door. But the sharp-eyed Natasha Romanoff quickly stuck out a foot and pressed it against the crack of the door, preventing Talia from closing the door. Then, from the briefcase, take out a thick document. I'm sorry, ma'am. I must meet Mr. Wong as soon as possible. It is about Mr. Jean. The inheritance of the 30 billion assets cannot tolerate a moment's delay. Natasha Romanoff said forcefully. Last night, Sonic modified the network data. Try to transfer all the assets related to Jean Bing to the name of Wong Quan. The transfer of assets involving $30 billion naturally attracted the attention of SHIELD. When you see Wong Quan, this familiar name, they linked this incident with the explosion of Hell's Kitchen and the death of Jean Bing. Nick Fury, it's up to you to decide. In the name of law firm, I took over this entrustment. And from Soundwave, I learned the coordinate position of Wong Quan. Everything went through. I said, the master is inconvenient now. Talia reminded again and pushed the door hard, trying to hurt Natasha Romanoff, which is the foot of the house door. Let this beautiful woman of unknown origin retreat. As the nominal maid, the actual bodyguard. Even with strong guards like Sonic and Black Widow, she still performs her job dutifully, because she believes that there will be a sparseness in every 100 secrets, and she is the last defense. But a lazy voice came from the direction of the bedroom, stopping Talia's actions. The quarrel outside the door awakened Wang Quan, who was taking a nap on the sofa in the living room. It's very uneducated behavior to turn guests away. Talia, give this lady some tea. 18. The door opens. Natasha Romanoff, who was standing outside the door, saw Talia's smile stiffened. This woman is very dangerous. If not an agent, it must be a professional assassin. If he starts, Natasha Romanoff has no absolute certainty that he can kill this woman unscathed. Therefore, in the next contact, she must be vigilant and must not reveal a single flaw. Thanks. Natasha Romanoff thanks politely. Then he took off his jacket and handed it to Talia. Following the previous voice, she turned her attention to the black-haired youth who was half lying on the sofa. Then, Natasha Romanoff was stunned. This dangerous person in the eyes of Shield, the appearance is really deceptive. Maybe because he just woke up, that handsome face was a little lazy. He wasn't as vicious as Shield had guessed. If not, it is already known that Wang Quan's atrocities last night. I'm afraid he gives the impression that he is a good citizen who abides by the law. Natasha Romanoff is looking at Wang Quan. Wang Quan is also looking at her. Natasha Romanoff in a small black suit is like a wild rose in the workplace, exuding a charm that fascinates the opposite S*X. I have to say, she is absolutely stunning. Is there something dirty on my face? Wang Quan showed a confused look, teasing the woman in front of him. Feel sorry. You look like a friend of mine, and you were fascinated by it. Natasha Romanoff came back to his senses, showing a tough smile, but unknowingly, cold sweat soaked his back. She couldn't see through the man in front of her. Precisely, there seems to be an invisible wall between her and this man. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't touch the truth of the other party. This weird feeling is just too scary. Old man. It seems Miss Roshman is also a person with a story. Wang Quan replied with a chuckle, and raised his hand to let Natasha Romanoff sit down and talk first. Natasha Romanoff did not refuse, and sat on the sofa beside Wang Quan under Talia's gaze. Mr. Wang, you're joking. I'm here to send you the contract, and here are the relevant documents. As long as you have signed these documents, Mr. Jin's estate will be transferred to your name within a few days. As she spoke, she opened the folder, put the prepared documents on the coffee table, and then take out a black pen. At the moment of opening the cap, Natasha Romanoff looked at the sharp nib, and a bold idea flashed through her head. The distance between the two is so close. At her speed, she could pierce Wang Quan's neck before he could react. This potential danger will be completely erased from the world. But, is it really that easy? You have become hostile to Black Widow. Congratulations, trigger the reward. You have obtained Level 1 reward. Ada Wong. Ada Wong, unidentified female agent with extraordinary skills. As long as she accepts the mission, she will never fail. A bloody photon screen unfolded in front of Wang Quan. He immediately realized that the woman in front of him was trying to kill him. But consider the importance of her later. At least before the establishment of Avengers, she still has value. Now is not the time to take action against her. Realizing this, Wang Quan temporarily put aside his killing intent. He raised his arm and gently patted Natasha Romanoff's shoulder, awakening the dazed woman from her absent state. Miss Roshman, are you all right? It seems that from the beginning, you have been a little absent-minded. Wang Quan's hypocritical concern rang in Natasha Romanoff's ear, but it was like a heavy hammer, waking her up from her absence. The black pen fell from her hand. It fell to the ground with a crisp sound. Feel sorry. Because of the accident last night, I didn't get enough sleep, which made Mr. Wong laugh. Natasha Romanoff replied with a wry smile. She bent down and tried to pick up which pen, but Wang Quan was faster than her. That's really hard work for you. Wang Quan handed the pen he picked up to Natasha Romanoff again. Then, from the pocket of his jacket, he took out a pen. I prefer this one of mine. Miss Roshman, you shouldn't mind. Duh. 19. Definitely no problem. Natasha Romanoff gave a far-fetched smile and smiled perfunctorily. These words seemed to be normal, but Natasha Romanoff always felt that something was wrong. As in words. She's not the only one who thinks so. Nick Fury, who saw the whole process through the miniature camera, also sweated for her reckless behavior. If not, Wang Quan has not turned his face until now. Nick Fury began to wonder if Black Widow has been exposed. The signing process was very smooth. Wang Quan didn't even read it carefully, just signed his name on the document. Natasha Romanoff breathed a sigh of relief after going through the process. Mr. Wang, thank you for your trust. We will transfer the estate to your name as soon as possible. After Natasha Romanoff sorted out the documents, she got up from her seat and shook hands with Wang Quan politely. Next, as long as you can leave smoothly, it means that the mission has ended successfully. But something Natasha Romanoff and even Nick Fury hadn't expected suddenly happened. Miss Rushman, in the days ahead, I need a legal counsel. I don't know if you are interested. Wang Quan watched Natasha Romanoff expectantly, waiting for her answer. Natasha Romanoff gave a far-fetched smile, just as she was about to say no. The order from SHIELD came again. Promise his terms. With hardly any hesitation, Nick Fury, who was directing behind the scenes, gave Black Widow a new order. If a chess piece can be placed beside Wang Quan, you can monitor his every move. This is simply a pie that fell from the sky. If you are lucky, you can even get the blueprints for those mechanical monsters. Let SHIELD also have this, a powerful trump card. No matter how you think about it, it's all Bailey's and no harm. After receiving the order, despite some reluctance, Natasha Romanoff had to do it. It is my blessing to be able to serve you. Natasha Romanoff's smile was a little far-fetched, but she still pretended to be happy. You must be very tired today, so go back and rest first. Tomorrow, I'll pick you up in person. Let's talk in detail then. Wang Quan raised his hand and stroked Natasha Romanoff's cheek softly, pretending to be obsessed. It looks like a playful boy. Then, I'll leave first. Natasha Romanoff smiled awkwardly, brushing her bangs across her forehead. He thought that the man in front of him, like other men of the opposite S*X, was lusting after her beauty. But do not know. She has fallen into the trap set by Wang Quan. What awaits her fate soon will be endless despair. Natasha Romanoff left. After watching her walk out of the door, the smile on Wang Quan's face gradually faded away. My lord, do you want me to kill her? Talia asked with a stern expression. As a professional assassin, she smelled the familiar smell from Natasha Romanoff. This woman is by no means an ordinary legal advisor. It is very likely that a hostile force sent a killer. Killed. That's a shame, it's a pity. Wang Quan sneered and sarcastically said, obviously there are more vicious plans. He didn't expect that SHIELD would attack him so early. But, since the mice of SHIELD, they took the initiative to send them to the door. Wang Quan doesn't mind either. Give SHIELD a deep lesson. Sonic, contact the Decepticons of Cybertron. Let them bring the brain neural connector to me. I'm going to teach the smart Nick Fury a good lesson. Wang Quan directly ordered the sound wave through the connection with Tinder. As ordered, Commander. Also, I'm in Jean Bing's secret file. Find something that might interest you. Sonic's reply just ended, and a portal opened in the living room. The laser bird flew out of the portal and projected a virtual screen in front of Wang Quan. That turned out to be a data file of a secret transaction. But what surprised Wang Quan was, these secret transactions actually involved Stark Industries. Over the years, Stark Industries has been selling new weapons to terrorist organizations through Kim Bing's organization. Even a few months ago, the insurgent group that attacked Tony Stark is also in this document. And the mastermind behind all this is Obadiah Stane. That is, the villain in Iron Man. Iron Overlord. Interesting. Wang Quan took a general look, then waved at the laser bird, telling him to close the virtual screen. The unpleasantness caused by SHIELD before was swept away at this moment. He has already thought of how to use Obadiah to hit the Stark Industry. From Iron Man, get the Phase 3 reward. 20. Hive Base. Since being activated by Wong Quan, he has quietly appeared in the basement of this villa. Wong Quan and Talia, through the exclusive direct elevator, entered the interior of the Hive Base. He was completely shocked by the scene in front of him. Compared with the world on Earth, this place is simply two different styles. What he didn't expect was that there were still staff inside the base. The advanced mimetic environment can be self-sufficient without worrying about material problems. In the pure white hall, all the staff wore the same white clothes. The work card on the chest is their identity and the only pass here. Welcome, Mr. Wong Quan. Allow me to show you around. The woman in charge with short blonde hair walked forward with a smile and greeted Wong Quan. The job card on her chest shows her name and the position she holds. Name, Alex Weskier. Position, top executive, obviously. This young and beautiful woman is the top director of the Hive Base. With Wong Quan's knowledge, she also seems to be the final boss of the Resident Evil series in a certain work. 500 technicians, bioscientists, and logisticians live here. Work and residence are underground. In addition to the security team, there is also the most advanced artificial intelligence, the Red Queen. The Red Queen has the authority, second only to you, in charge of all the facilities here. Alex Weskier, performing her duties, introduced Wong Quan to the Hive Base in front of her. How has your research progress? After Wong Quan concluded the operation of the Hive Base, he asked his concerns again. We have developed a special medicine that can strengthen human genes. Even a scrawny child can grow into a super soldier in a very short period of time. If you need it, you can inject it now. Speaking of her research results, Alex showed a confident smile. I'm looking forward to it. Wong Quan replied with satisfaction, which is one of the reasons why he came here. In the crisis-ridden American comics universe, he needs stronger strength to deal with the next crises. The strengthening effect of Lazarus Pool made him taste the sweetness. That's why he is even more eager for the strengthening from the tyrant virus. Someday, he will also be as powerful as the god of Asgard. Unleash the power of infinite gems with a powerful body. Definitely. Wong Quan also did not forget allegiance to his League of Assassins. Talia, let's inject together too. When you go back, show your father the good news that biotechnology has brought. Wong Quan patted Talia on the shoulder, ready to fulfill the promise he made. Thank you for your gift, Lord Wong Quan. After hearing Wong Quan's promise, Talia showed a surprised expression. He got down on one knee on the spot and used his actions to convey his loyalty. Her father, if he knew this news, would be very happy. You don't have to kneel every time. Wong Quan sighed helplessly and helped the demon's daughter up from the ground. But Talia's attitude is very tough. It's the rule. Talia said seriously, this is also the best way to express loyalty. Oh right. I forgot to say that the effect of this medicine, including beauty, can make people stay youthful. Alex stroked her cheek and said with a look of fascination. At the moment, she smiled like an ecstatic vixen. Hearing this heavy news, even Talia, who is a top assassin, showed a longing look. Really, women are beautiful creatures. Wong Quan sighed helplessly when a group of 3 walked out of the test area and came to the public rest area. A loud bang sounded from not far away, and even the ground was shaking. How is this going? Wong Quan asked suspiciously, knowing that this is a Hive Base. In the event of an earthquake causing a virus leak in the laboratory, it will cause a chemical crisis. To this, Alex smiled wryly, clutching by Chu's forehead, making a headache. It was made by your subordinates of the Decepticons. Your lieutenant, Lord Starscream. Prepare to build a space bridge facility in the Hive to connect to Cybertron. But with all due respect, those robotic insects are not good construction workers. Alex sighed helplessly. I see. Looks like I need a more efficient construction team. Wong Quan, who learned the truth, murmured thoughtfully. If there is a space bridge on this planet, the transportation of materials on both sides will be more convenient and the combat power will be more abundant. But for the safety of the Hive Base, the construction of the space bridge must not be handed over to the clumsy robot insects. So, in the Decepticons, who can do this job, the name of a team appeared in Wong Quan's mind. Digger, it's up to you. 21. Hive base. On a messy construction site. After hearing Wang Quan's question, Starscream showed a look of astonishment as if he had seen a ghost. What did you say? Are you going to call the diggers? But they died in the war with the Autobots hundreds of years ago. Buried in the sea of rust for so many years, it is estimated that even the complete fragments can't be found. Starscream rolled her eyes and spit out helplessly. He turned around and glanced at the group of robotic insects that were still baring their teeth at him, and tears of grievance were about to fall. As long as there is one member of Digging Tiger, there is still one surviving. He wouldn't be stupid enough to command low-intelligence robot insects to build a space bridge in such a ghost place. Died? Wang Quan questioned Starscream in confusion. Through his spiritual connection with Cybertron, he clearly perceives the fire of Digging Tiger, which has not yet been extinguished. In the name of Tinder, I swear to you. Respected master, the diggers and the others are really gone. Starscream raised her palm and made an oath, making an oath with great sincerity. Wang Quan looked at Starscream as if he were lying. Suddenly, I remembered the animation setting of shape-shifting King Kong. Whether it's an Autobot or a Decepticon, all shape-shifting King Kong, after death, the fire will return to the fire source. And fire source is the core of Cybertron. So, is there a possibility Wang Quan, who has Cybertron, can make those shape-shifting King Kong who have returned to the fire source? What about resurrection again? Wang Quan clenched his fists excitedly. He was ready to test it, and looked at Talia beside him. Talia, call the leaders and pass on my order. I don't care what they do. Before this evening, by the following 6 types of construction vehicles. Forklift, right rudder construction crane, mixer, roller, sweeper, loading and unloading trucks. Every time Wang Quan mentioned a model, Talia quickly wrote it down on the memo to prevent mistakes. Although she couldn't understand, this lord, the purpose of doing this. But she firmly believed that these vehicles must have some use. My lord, I have written it down. Go and call them. Talia accepted the order solemnly, then took out her mobile phone and dialed her father's number. If the guess is good, her father should be with those 8 leaders now. We discussed together how to quickly annex those black organizations without leaders. Starscream stunned. This cunning Decepticon seemed to sense something. He widened his eyes in horror, showing a funny expression, obviously guessing the crazy idea of this adult. Big adult. You shouldn't you be thinking? Resurrect them? Starscream asked incoherently. Even the slender body was trembling nonstop. Bring decedent back to life? This kind of absurd thing. I am afraid that only God can do it. Starscream's incompetent antics made Wang Quan laugh contemptuously. Right. I just want to resurrect them. Not just diggers, there are more warriors. Including you, the former leader who went a Wang Quan with Optimus Prime. Megatron. 22. Shield. Nick Fury, who had not slept all night, fell into a long meditation while looking at the information in front of him. Just this morning, almost all the leaders of the black organization of file size in New York died tragically at home. All corpses died of mortal wounds. One hit is deadly and clean. At the murder scene, no clues were left, including fingerprints, hair, and even footprints. There is no doubt that this group of people died at the hands of professional assassins. Even weirder is, even calling up the crime scene and surrounding surveillance footage, none of them found that there were people haunting before and after the incident. It feels like the group of professional assassins seemed to appear out of thin air, complete the mission, and then disappear out of thin air. What are the 8 surviving leaders doing now? Nick Fury closed his eyes tiredly and asked the intelligence department of SHIELD through the Bluetooth communication facility. I'm busy annexing the file size organization and expanding the site. If nothing else, they should have been subdued and become loyal dogs of that man. After all, everyone else died, and they survived. No matter how you think about it, it's a bit strange. By the way, there is an even stranger thing. Just now, the alliance formed by these 8 leaders is like receiving an order. Started consulting with construction companies and wanted to buy outright existing construction vehicles. I don't know. I thought they were going to wash their hands with gold and set up an engineering team. With his hands on his chest, Hill told the situation of the group leaders in a witty tone. After Nick Fury heard the news, not only did he not laugh out loud, but his dark face became even more gloomy. As an agent's intuition, he always feels that things are not so simple. Wong Quan, what exactly does he want? Nick Fury frowned. His right hand tapped the table irritably and muttered to himself. Sir, do you want to stop them? Our agent can be dispatched at any time to bring the 8 leaders back for interrogation. Hill asked aside. Since you can't guess the other party's plan, it's better to eliminate the source directly. No, absolutely not. We mustn't beat the grass and startle the snake. In the current situation, the enemy is in the open, I am in the dark, and the advantage is in me. Let the agents in charge of monitoring withdraw for the time being, so as not to arouse the suspicion of that man. In addition, let Black Widow do whatever it takes to gain that man's trust. Nick Fury rejected Hill's proposal. Instead, I put all my hopes on Black Widow. If that man is really greedy for beauty and may be bought off, Nick Fury doesn't mind using a Black Widow in exchange for the other party's favor. That evening, 6 of the latest construction vehicles headed to a recycling station. A giant portal unfolded in front of the 6 construction vehicles, attracting the attention of everyone present. A loud roar sounded from inside the portal. 2 robot insects with a height of more than 10 meters climbed to the outside world through the portal, emitting hoarse and violent roars. How did the 8 leaders who gathered here have experienced such a scene? Before this evening, they've only seen these monsters on TV. It's them, kill Jinbian. Turn Hell's Kitchen into a real hell. But strangely enough, these ferocious and brutal monsters did not attack everyone. Instead, he knelt down on the ground meekly, as if welcoming the coming king. The 8 leaders immediately noticed something. They took off their hats in awe. After that, he controlled his trembling calf and knelt on the ground almost at the same time. Just as they knelt down, a tall human figure walked out slowly from the portal. Wong Quan, come. 23. Wong Quan looked around and finally turned his attention to the 6 brand-new engineering vehicles. You did a good job of this. Go back. Wong Quan praised with satisfaction and motioned everyone to get up from the ground. The leaders of this group of organizations in front of them are useless, but it is very convenient to act as an intermediary, negotiate with other forces, or do some trivial purchases. As ordered, the 8 leaders answered bitterly. With their current embarrassing status, they are not qualified to know the secret of this adult. Watching them leave, Wong Quan closed his eyes and connected his consciousness to Cybertron. Hundreds of millions of sparkling fire seeds, like dazzling stars, responded to his call one after another. His guess was indeed correct. When Wong Quan opened his eyes, a huge mysterious energy spread out from his body. In the name of Yuanshi Tianzuan, Digger, Resurrection, 6 bright flames rose from Wong Quan's palm and flew to the direction of the construction vehicle. In an instant, 6 engineering vehicles, in the case of driverless, suddenly started. The steel-cast body turned into countless tiny pieces of iron, and under Wong Quan's gaze, they quickly reorganized, shape-shifting. The resurrected digging tiger didn't even get used to the new body, so he knelt down on one knee in the direction of Wong Quan. The 6 members of Digging Tiger pressed their hands on the position of tinder and performed the highest etiquette towards the king in front of them. Thank you for your grace of resurrection, His Majesty Wong Quan. From today onwards, the Digger team will be your most loyal servant. The 6 members of the Diggers said in unison, be their savior. The new king of the Decepticons, the status in their hearts, has far surpassed the former leader, Megatron. Wong Quan was very satisfied with the performance of the Digger. Very good. From today onwards, you will continue to do your job. The current priority is to build a space bridge connecting Cybertron on this planet. Wong Quan gave orders to the Diggers. After, under the watchful eyes of the Decepticons, he walked into the portal again. Long after Wong Quan left, the Diggers got up from the ground. The forklift, which is the leader, gives orders to the members of the squad. We want to build a space bridge in the shortest possible time. Never let your majesty be disappointed. Digger, shape-shifting, set off. Under the command of the forklift, the Diggers were shape-shifted into a vehicle form again. headed by forklifts. They formed a complete convoy and left the waste recycling station through the portal opened by sound waves. Hive base. Starscream, with a worried face, with his hands behind his back, walked anxiously. As a mechanical being, he didn't believe that His Majesty had the ability of resurrection decedent. Because I didn't want to see an embarrassing scene, I didn't go together. But he is afraid of this Majesty. He really has the ability to do it. You must know that in the millions of years of war with the Autobots, he has offended many people. The former Digger is one of them, just in case. These enemies have all been resurrected, so wouldn't he want to? Just when Starscream was worried, he suddenly saw that Lord Wong Quan, who had just left, had returned again. Failed. Otherwise, how could this His Majesty come back so soon? My lord, failure is common in military affairs. After a few times, you'll get used to it. The former Lord Megatron also came here like this. Starscream bent over, Philistin rubbing his palms. That slender face was full of Fawn's pleasing smile, comforting Wong Quan, who, in his opinion, returned from failure. Wong Quan jokingly glanced at Starscream, showed a deep smile, and passed in front of Starscream. Then, the roar of the car sounded from the portal. The Digger squad, headed by a forklift, appeared in front of Starscream in an unmanned form. It's impossible. The smile on Starscream's face froze, then quickly changed to a look of horror, and the Diggers headed by the forklift quickly fit into shape-shifting under his gaze. When a steel giant over 35 meters in size threw a deadly fist and punched Starscream. Digger, do not, should say, Hercules. He really came back to life. 24. Into the night. Wong Quan, who came back from the hive base, stretched tiredly. Sir, I'm going to prepare hot water for you. Aware of Wong Quan's sleepiness, Talia, who was thoughtful, immediately walked towards the bathroom. What a good boy. Looking at Talia's back, Wong Quan sighed from the bottom of his heart. Although only for a short day, but he has fallen in love with this kind of happy life with beautiful cars and beautiful women. A gust of cold wind blew into the living room. Draw Wong Quan's attention to the direction of the window. Under the hazy moonlight, the stunning beauty in a blood-colored long dress is sitting lazily with her legs crossed, leaning against the window, showing a playful and charming smile. I hope my presence didn't disturb your interest. The woman speaks Mandarin fluently. The attitude towards Wong Quan is like a close friend whom he hasn't seen for a long time, and he doesn't have the kind of awe that others have. But, at the first sight of her, Wong Quan knew her identity. Ada Wong. How did you get in? Wong Quan asked curiously that all the surveillance around the villa was monitored by the sound waves. A few kilometers above, there are also laser birds patrolling. In theory, it is absolutely impossible for someone to sneak into this villa without the eyes of Sonic. Therefore, Wong Quan was even more curious as to how this woman got in. After hearing the boss's question, King Ada showed a bad smile. Take the stairs. Ada Wong replied humorously. She did not answer this question. Is this the so-called 100 secrets eventually one sparse? Sonic's security work is still not perfect. Wong Quan exclaimed with a smile. Since King Ada can sneak in, then there must be other people in this world who can do it too. Realizing this, Wong Quan turned his attention to King Ada. Playing time, let's end here. I have an important task to give to you. You are the most suitable candidate. Wong Quan said to King Ada. Then he clapped his palms and called the laser bird patrolling outside back to the inside of the villa. Follow the window and enter the laser bird in the living room. The performance is a little low, like a child who has made a mistake. This woman can sneak into the villa, and it has to carry at least half of the pot. The other half is Sonic. King Ada raised his slender palm and wanted to stroke the wings of the laser bird, but he avoided it unappreciatively. In desperation, King Ada had no choice but to look at Wong Quan. If it's an assassination mission, your little maid who is releasing water is more suitable than me. Definitely. If you insist on me doing it, I will do my best. King Ada looked in the direction of the bathroom, and the smile on his face seemed a little playful. Wong Quan's mouth twitched, and he sighed helplessly. It's not a dangerous mission, just asking you to find two people. No matter what method you use, you must bring them to me. That old man is not in good health. You'd better help me find him before he dies. Wong Quan snapped his fingers in the direction of the laser bird. After receiving the order, The laser bird immediately projected a photon screen and displayed a photo of a father and son in front of King Ada. Russian. When King Ada saw the appearance of the father and son, he immediately noticed their identities. That's right. The exiled father and son are both geniuses in physics. Your mission is to go to the extreme cold zone and inquire about their whereabouts. The father and son were more extreme and hostile to outsiders. You can tell them. I would like to give them a chance to take revenge on Stark Industries. Wang Quan explained in detail. After, he glanced at King Ada's clothes again and raised his eyebrows slightly. I'll let Sonic open a portal for you. Before starting the search, I suggest you change your clothes first. 25. Hospital. Seriously injured Tony, Su Xing from a coma. The pain in his body made it difficult for him to get up. Weak enough to even drink water, he needs to ring the bell and seek help from the nurse. Do not move. A steady male voice came from beside Tony. A bald white man with an apple in his hand was sitting on the edge of the bed, looking at Tony kindly. Obadiah, why are you here? Little Pepper, where's her? Tony asked suspiciously. He didn't know how long he had been in a coma. But when he opened his eyes, he saw Obadiah, which made him a little disappointed. She has been with you since you were taken to the hospital. All day and night. I saw that she was too tired, so I asked her to go back to rest first. Obadiah said with emotion. He handed the apple to Tony's direction. No need. I never accept other people's stuff, you know. Tony refused with a wry smile, his expression a little pained. The drowsy mind, recalling that scene, began to hurt again. It was a pain mixed with fear, and it was absolutely unbearable torment for such an arrogant genius. Wang Quan. The technology mastered by that man is far beyond his cognitive level. This steel battle suit he had high hopes for, in front of that man's mechanical monster. It looks so weak and so hilarious. It's a shame. Unbearable humiliation in the field he is most proud of. As long as one day does not exceed that man, achieve more brilliant achievements. This humiliation will be like a nightmare, torturing him day and night, making him unable to sleep peacefully. I have to go back. On the existing technology, perform a new upgrade. Stronger, and more firepower. I need bigger armor. Tony struggled to raise his palms, covering his aching forehead. As if possessed by a demon, the demon muttered to himself. His crazy appearance made Obadiah really startled. As the major shareholder of Stark Industries, Tony means a lot to him. Simply put, Tony is a chicken that lays golden eggs. He needs the wisdom of Stark for his greater good. Tony, calm down first. I'm going to the doctor. Obadiah pressed the emergency bell, got up from the edge of the bed, and walked to the doctor's duty room. But before he left the ward, the phone suddenly rang. Damn, it happens to be such a time. Obadiah looked at the unknown incoming call on the screen and hung up without thinking. But a text message popped up quickly, making his face extremely ugly. I know the truth about Tony was attacked. This mysterious text message, accompanied by an audio file, made Obadiah's expression even more gloomy. If the guess is good, this is the evidence that the other party has at present. Obadiah was like a mouse whose tail was stepped on, showing a vicious look. He couldn't care less about Tony's condition. Tony, the doctor will be here soon. There are still some things in the company. I will leave first. Obadiah came up with an excuse casually and left the ward in a hurry. When he walked through the long and narrow corridor and came to a corner where no one was in, I dared to open that file. Then, he asked Jean Biao to act as a matchmaker, and a certain country's armed organization conspired to get rid of Tony's plan, and the phone rang. Jean Bing. UB ********* D. How dare you use this method to trick me? On Obadiah's face, ferocious blue veins appeared, and the face that was too angry was extremely red with anger. If someone distributed this document, Obadiah will lose everything, and waiting for his end will be a prison sentence. Just when Obadiah, incompetent and furious, another unknown call sounded, bringing him back to his senses again. Who are you? What the hell do you want? Obadiah asked gloomily. The other party seemed to understand his every move, and according to his actions, the plan is progressing. I want to destroy his mood step by step. Sudden, Obadiah found the surveillance camera in the corridor. A chill swept through his body, making him shudder. Behind this camera, there seems to be a pair of eyes hidden, just at Obadiah, shocked at the same time. Phone. A young man's voice came. I don't want to see this document, if it is made public. At 10 o'clock tonight, wait for me on the rooftop of the Empire State Building. 26. 9 p.m. Obadiah stood on the rooftop of the Empire State Building, waiting for the mysterious man to arrive. At night, the city is high in the sky, only the cold wind blows. Because he was in a hurry, Obadiah didn't even change into thicker clothes. The middle-aged, fat, aged body was shivering from the cold. Even his breathing was mixed with a slight trembling. He came early and let the staff close the entrance and prohibit anyone from entering and leaving. Obviously, Obadiah, who has played with conspiracy all his life, wants to use this method to give the other party an ugly disgrace. Not only that, the cunning Obadiah has made another preparation. He brought $3 million and wanted to use this money in exchange for the documents in the other party's hands. It can be said that it is full of sincerity. As time passed by, Obadiah waited anxiously, looking at the gold watch in his hand again and again. Finally, after a long wait, the moment the clock points to 10, in front of Obadiah, a circle of dreamy, dazzling aurora lights up. A tall figure came out from the inside. Space teleportation. It turned out to be a portal. Obadiah's eyes widened in shock. The advanced technology mastered by the other party made him feel like he was dreaming. If being able to master this space technology will bring him, what terrifying benefits? Teleport an armored core behind the enemy. What will it be like on the battlefield? Or directly place large-yield nuclear weapons in the developed cities of the enemy country. Just press the button and you can take out the enemy. Not only that, and deep underground, those strategic resources. As long as the space transmission technology is used, it can be mined and scrupulously. If he, Obadiah, can master this technology, then he will become the king of the world, and everyone must submit to his feet. Almost instantly, Obadiah showed his greed face as a businessman. Compared to Tony Stark, the chicken that laid the golden egg, the young man who appeared in front of him was a golden mountain. No matter what means, he must master this technology from this young man. Anyway, Wong Quan, who arrived at the scene, looked at Obadiah in front of him. Through the strengthening of Lazarus Pool, Wong Quan's perception ability has been greatly improved. The greed and viciousness on Obadiah's face were all vividly displayed in Wong Quan's gaze. Exposed. This old fox has evil intentions. Wong Quan sighed in disappointment and instantly turned on the position. The idea that he originally planned to conquer Obadiah was discarded by him because of Obadiah's performance. This old fox. In Wong Quan's eyes, it has no value anymore. I'm willing to pay $3 million to show my sincerity. Definitely. If you think it's not enough, you can talk more. Obadiah put away his greedy face, put on a hypocritical old-fashioned appearance, and greeted Wong Quan. But his right hand was quietly reaching into his pocket. Take out an electronic device and press the button. This is Stark Industries, tackling modern warfare. The infrasound weapon developed at a huge cost. Just press the button for instant activation. It emits infrasound waves with a frequency lower than 20 Hz, which resonates with the human body, resulting in displacement, shape-shifting, and even direct rupture of all units and organs in a certain area around them. This can cause injury or even death, and he had already put on a shielding device to avoid being affected. Without any exaggeration, after the infrasonic weapon is activated, even a superhero like Captain America or Black Widow, all can only wait in despair the coming of death. However, this old fox is doomed to miscalculate. In the face of the powerful position, any insidious tricks will not work. A second has passed. 5 seconds passed. The smile on Obadiah's face suddenly froze. The young man on the opposite side did not show any discomfort, which was completely different from the scene he imagined. Why? You haven't fallen yet. I obviously have. Obadiah turned his gaze to the infrasound weapon in his hand and murmured in astonishment. Is the weapon out of order? Wrong. No one knows better than him the power of this weapon. But why doesn't it work at all for the immediate goal? Because I had expected it. It's impossible for an old fox like you to obey. Wang Quan sneered contemptuously. In Obadiah, with a flustered look, he decisively raised his left hand. Black nanoalloy gushing out of the ring worn by the index finger. Wrap around Wang Quan's left arm and form a robotic arm armor. With the injection of energy, a golden glare lit up from the robotic arm armor. Magnetic gloves, activate. Wang Quan showed a cruel smile and said to Obadiah like a demon king from hell, Obadiah, ready to pay for your stupidity. 27. Empire State Building at night. Wang Quan raised his left hand and activated the ability of magnetic gloves. Following his left hand, he slowly lifted up, and Obadiah's body even rose from the ground. What did you do to me? It hurts. It hurts to death. Obadiah, roaring in pain, one after another blue veins, exposed on the outer layer of the body. It looks so creepy. Every blood vessel is passing the pain like a knife. It's like a certain element possessed in the blood, as if trying to break free from his body. Obadiah, the human body contains a lot of iron, and I happen to be able to control them. If I drain the iron element in your body, what interesting things will happen? Wang Quan smiled cruelly and asked Obadiah in a low voice. The raised left hand began to show signs of closing. In an instant, the magnetic force has been enhanced, almost doubled. Please, don't do that. I'm a major shareholder in Stark Industries. If I die, Tony Stark, I won't let you go. The pain in the blood vessels became more intense. Obadiah screamed and threatened Wang Quan. But after hearing this threat, Wang Quan laughed contemptuously. What? This is probably the dumbest threat I've ever heard. Obadiah, who do you think killed Kim and sent Tony Stark to the hospital? Wang Quan asked rhetorically with a sneer. The left hand is closed again, and the suction force of the magnetic field is increased. What? Obadiah let out a shrill scream, and the tears drawn along the corners of his eyes had turned into sticky blood tears. The fine blood began to seep out of the pore. The white suit shirt was soaked in blood in a large area, turning into a terrifying blood color. Please, as long as I'm willing to bypass my life, I'm willing to do anything for you. Obadiah wailed miserably with a hoarse voice, just like the old dog growling in the twilight. Now, the pain he has suffered is no less than severed by 1,000 knives. Wang Quan smiled even happier. One of his few pleasures is torturing enemies while killing them, especially those idiots who are good teachers and think they are superior. The more painful they act, the happier Wang Quan is, considering that Obadiah is just an ordinary person after all, and Iron King has not been born yet. Iron Man's story didn't even unfold. Wang Quan decided to show mercy and give the old fox a chance. Give you 10 seconds. As long as I can say the conditions that make my heart, I will show mercy and spare your life. Wang Quan showed an expectant smile and looked at Obadiah jokingly. The left hand equipped with the magnetic glove controls Obadiah in midair and walks towards the edge of the rooftop. If Obadiah's conditions cannot satisfy Wang Quan, what awaits him will be a fall from the sky, and he will die without a whole corpse. 10. Wang Quan starts the countdown. At this moment, Obadiah is on the verge of collapse. I can offer you a job. How about coming to Stark Industries? I'll train you myself, just like Tony. You will have a bright future. Together, you and I will be able to surpass Tony. Obadiah said excitedly and drew a big cake for Wang Quan. But his embarrassed appearance now is both ridiculous and pathetic. 9. Wang Quan ignored him and continued the countdown. I still have a villa and a car. Which one do you want? Which sports car do you want? I can give it to you. Obadiah continued. In the face of life and death, this old fox is still haggling. 8. Wang Quan continued. The expression on his face was more of a disdain. He has just obtained the assets of 30 billion gold and merger, and he has all these. Obadiah is in a hurry. Money. I still have money. How much do you need? Let's talk about it. Obadiah said painfully. He likes money, but he understands a truth better. When people are killed, they die. And if a person dies, there really is nothing left. 7. Wang Quan ignored it, and the countdown continued. 3 billion. No. 5 billion. The fear of death was greater than the pain in his body, and his mind was running extremely fast. After measuring his assets, He said a huge sum of money that he could barely afford. 3. Wong Quan accelerated the countdown and went directly to the final link. And at the moment, Obadiah has also reached the edge of the rooftop. As long as Wong Quan take back the magnetism, Obadiah will fall from an altitude of more than 380 meters towards the ground below. The current situation is completely out of control. Company shares. This is my most valuable treasure. I can give you all the shares I hold in Stark Industries. The fear of death has finally been overcome, the greed deep in people's hearts. Obadiah was like a walking corpse who lost his soul, his eyes blank and dull. He has been deliberate, and it has been like a day for decades, only to grasp the value, hundreds of billions of dollars in shares. Even more than once, tried to murder Tony, tried to annex the largest shareholder, and completely controlled the Stark industry. But his decades of hard work have now become a bargaining chip. Nice condition, I accept. Wong Quan waved his left hand with satisfaction, like throwing garbage, and threw the seriously injured Obadiah back to the rooftop. Obadiah grimaced in pain, but he was extremely happy, because, with only one verbal promise, he was lucky enough to get his life back. I will, and the board. Obadiah supported his trembling body and tried to stand up from the ground. But a foot descended from the sky, but stepped on his head and made close contact with the ground. He held back his unfinished words again. Wong Quan stepped on Obadiah's head and walked towards the portal that had not been closed. Before leaving, Wong Quan looked back indifferently, looked down at Obadiah, who was dying, and said coldly, "Don't try in vain, be careful. If I can spare your life tonight, it doesn't mean that I will spare you next time. Go back and prepare the contract. My legal counsel will contact you." 29. The next morning, in order to conceal the identity of the agent, Natasha Romanoff, who went to work in the office, suddenly received a call. "Miss Roshman, how's it going?" When Wong Quan's voice rang from the phone, Natasha Romanoff immediately became alert. "Mr. Wong, some assets have been transferred. The rest still need to be checked. Please be patient for a while." Natasha Romanoff turned into a professional lawyer, answering Wong Quan's questions. At the same time, she dropped the job at hand. He quietly walked towards the window, alertly looking at the street below the office, looking for suspicious persons. She suspected the man and had sent someone to monitor her. "Miss Roshman, you seem very nervous. By the way, you should raise your head and look at the sky." Wong Quan's voice rang from the phone, with a somewhat playful tone. Natasha Romanoff's face turned pale when she raised her head and looked at the sky outside the window. The roar from the helicopter became clearer from above. The super-rotating propellers set off terrifying wind pressure, directly following the open windows, blowing the interior of the office into a mess. Natasha Romanoff raised her hand, shielding her fragile eyes, her blonde hair fluttering in the wind. "That's a gunship. Come on, Che." Black paint, dotted with purple glare, make this helicopter have a strong visual impact. When Natasha Romanoff wondered why this gunship appeared in the city, the door on the right opens. Wong Quan, who was sitting inside, ended the call, and to Natasha Romanoff, showing a deep smile. Then, under the shocked gaze of Natasha Romanoff, this crazy man actually jumped down from the cabin and landed firmly on the windowsill. As for the Comanche helicopter, after completing the mission, it flew into the distance under the gaze of Natasha Romanoff. "Too dangerous. Mr. Wong, your current status is tens of billions." Natasha Romanoff pretended to be frightened and lectured to Wong Quan, but she didn't finish her sentence. This strong man used to lift her chin. Then she raised her index finger and placed it on Natasha Romanoff's lips, stopping her from continuing. "I'm here to give you a new job. Miss Rushman, shareholder of Stark Industries. Obadiah, I want to transfer the shares in my hand to my name. Therefore, I need a legal counsel to help me take care of this. I think you're a good fit." Wong Quan has no hypocritical politeness and directly explained his intentions. "If you want to legally absorb the assets of Obadiah, like Kimio's legacy, you will need the help of SHIELD. In the attitude of using it to death, it is easy to use. He wants to use the Black Widow line and use the authority of SHIELD to help him deal with the trouble." Natasha Romanoff was stunned. "Today, looks like it's not April Fool's Day." Mr. Wong, you're joking a little too far. Mr. Obadiah is one of the major shareholders of Stark Industries. The shares he holds are worth at least more than $130 billion in the current trading market. I really can't think of how he thought to do such a thing. After hearing this, Natasha Romanoff asked back with a bit of tears and laughter. You must know that Obadiah is not the leader of an active underground organization like Kimio. He is a legitimate businessman. Stark Industries is the largest arms company in the world. For the Lighthouse country, this extraordinary status is the core of all cutting-edge technologies. Even those in power, no matter how stupid, I will never allow a foreigner to plunder this property. I know, but I believe you have this ability. Hearing Natasha Romanoff's words, Wong Quan did not explain too much. What he sees is only taking over, not the many processes in progress. $13 billion. Enough to make Wong Quan, on this planet, use legal means to show his strength. For example, umbrella company established. 30. At the same time, headquarters of SHIELD, Trident Building. The conversation between Wong Quan and Black Widow was also streamed here in real time through the monitor installed in the office. Is he crazy? First Jinbian, and now Obadiah. Who does he think he is? Nick Fury's head hurts with anger at this rude request. Before, he had already withstood the pressure and used the authority of SHIELD to allow the various departments to agree to make concessions on the gold and legacy. Good now. This greedy man is eyeing the shares of Stark Industries again. If it wasn't for the fact that SHIELD never showed up, there would be no way that man would know. Nick Fury even doubted. They have been exposed. That man knew their existence, so he wanted to use the hand of SHIELD to expand his power and remove all obstacles. Fury, calm down first. This is the image captured by the satellite last night. I think you will be interested. A tired voice came from behind Nick Fury, as the former director, Alexander Pierce, walked into the scene in a hurry and put a few pictures on Nick Fury's table. This is. Nick Fury glanced at the photo with a look of shock on his face. That was a picture captured by a military satellite from the rooftop of the Empire State Building last night. A man walked out of the portal. Although under the influence of the aurora, the man's face was a little blurry. But from the height and size of the man, as well as the black coat, including the black hair, the words were screened. Obviously, this man is Wong Quan. Space teleportation technology. I always thought that this technology would only appear in movies. Nick Fury murmured in shock. He looked at Pierce, trying to get more information from this old friend. Fury, do you remember the leaders of the organization who were killed yesterday morning? Why is the surveillance video, no trace of the suspect found? You said, is there a possibility? The mysterious group of assassins appeared at the crime scene through space teleportation. After killing the target, leaving through the portal? Pierce made his guess. Silenced Nick Fury. If you don't have these photos as evidence, Nick Fury will never believe that there are people in this world who master such terrifying technology. Terrible. If that's the case, the other party's space teleportation technology should be very perfect. It also means that if we are against him, this man can even put a nuclear bomb under Mr. President's bed. Nick Fury frowned and murmured worriedly. After all, mastering space technology, infiltrating military bases, and stealing nuclear bombs are just trivial matters. Worse yet, the current SHIELD has no ability at all to stop this man's actions. Looking at the student he was most satisfied with, he showed this expression. In Pierce's heart, there was something unpleasant. He raised his hand, patted Nick Fury's firm arm, and persuaded earnestly. To be his enemy now is undoubtedly stupid. You have to stabilize him before cracking his space technology, and let him perceive that our sincerity is unwilling to be his enemy. Pierce's persuasion made Nick Fury's face even more ugly. Yesterday was Jinbian. Today is Obadiah. Who will it be tomorrow? I can't do things that help Zhou and abuse him, and I don't even bother to do it. Nick Fury retorted with a sneer. To know that this man appeared only less than 2 days. But let the whole world face a terrifying crisis. Treat such villains if you don't want to deal with them. How to maintain the aloof status of the lighthouse country? Nick Fury's tough attitude made Pierce, the old fox, a little anxious. At least not us. Nick Fury, Don't forget who you are now. It's better than the end of the world for those rich people to lose their money. Pierce blushed, pointed at Nick Fury's nose, and scolded him in the face. I will report this matter to the council. I will also strongly question whether you have the ability to continue to serve as the SHIELD chief. After a few harsh words, Pierce turned away. Nick Fury, watching him go, there was a determined look in the only eye. Perhaps he should speed up his progress and convene capable people as soon as possible. Form a powerful alliance against Wong Quan. He even thought of a name. Just call Avengers. 31. Hospital. Obadiah, lying on a hospital bed, is being treated by a doctor. Multiple broken blood vessels, internal bleeding, wound infection, severe anemia. Learn from the doctor. Even if he survives, his body will suffer from hidden diseases, such as permanent loss of fertility. Yes, the finer the blood vessels, the more severe the damage. The current medical level in the world cannot provide effective treatment. Excision can only be performed before the organ becomes necrotic. Wong Quan. Obadiah gritted his teeth and whispered the man's name. He hates it so much. Even if he was slashed with 1,000 knives, he would not be able to quell his resentment. But the ability of that man made Obadiah extremely fearful. Although he has a net worth of hundreds of billions and is a super-rich man who can rank in the forefront of the world, he has no power of revenge. Sudden, Obadiah, thinking of Tony, that mighty, arrogant genius once rushed out of the terrorist organization's base with a suit of iron armor. If he can obtain the prototype of the iron armor, if he uses degaussing metal to upgrade the equipment, the opponent's ability has no effect on him. Thinking of this, the smile on Obadiah's face gradually became cruel. When his steel battle suit is finished, it's time for revenge. At that time, he will definitely repay the pain and shame he has suffered now. The other side. You and Obadiah have become hostile. Congratulations, triggering the Iron Man 1 scenario. Kill Iron King to get the final reward. Terminator Rev 9. Terminator Rev 9. Using more advanced technology than the T-Series Terminator, it has extremely terrifying combat power. The blood-colored photon screen suddenly appeared. When Obadiah was about to build the Iron King, the Infinite System was activated again. Wong Quan, who was chatting with Natasha Romanoff, was a little surprised, but quickly recovered. As he expected, Obadiah, the old fox, will never be captured easily. If the guess is good, he should have pinned his hopes on Iron Overlord and challenged Wong Quan. And Obadiah, who has been driven to a dead end by hatred and fear. At all costs, Iron Overlord will be given stronger armament, far exceeding the posture shown in the movie. Unfortunately, Obadiah chose the wrong opponent. In front of the Decepticons, human technology is just a toy. Not even Iron Man, let alone Iron King. Due to the triggering of the plot, Wong Quan put away his joking thoughts. The specific process of stock trading, discuss it with Obadiah. He won't refuse. He looked at Black Widow opposite, raised his hand thoughtfully, and arranged her messy hair for her. Black Widow stepped back somewhat alertly. She didn't like the man in front of her. When with Wong Quan, Natasha Romanoff has an inexplicable sense of crisis. In particular, the way Wong Quan looked at her was a little different from other men. It was a chilling cold, without any emotion, as if, treat a piece as useful as a tool. I'll get in touch as soon as possible, Mr. Obadiah. Natasha Romanoff replied somewhat perfunctorily. Without Nick Fury's instructions, in order to stabilize Wong Quan, she could only agree first. I won't disturb your work. Wong Quan spoke calmly, and then turned to leave. I'll send you. Natasha Romanoff also smiled and made a gesture of please. After all, her current status is Wong Quan's legal counsel. Although she didn't like it, at least the surface work had to be done. Wong Quan replied with a smile. After that, the two took the elevator to the parking lot on the basement level. But considering Wong Quan, he came by a helicopter before. There should be no vehicles on the ground. Then, Natasha Romanoff had to ask politely, Mr. Wong, do you need me to give you a ride? There was a hint of playfulness in Natasha Romanoff's voice, obviously wanting to see Wong Quan's joke. This is an underground garage, and it must be embarrassing without a car. The answer to this question is the roar of the engine. A purple-black locomotive, in the case of unmanned driving, actually drove in the direction of the two. Your Majesty, I kept you waiting. From the display instrument of the black locomotive, the voice of Black Widow came. It's okay. Wang Quan replied with a light smile, then looked at Natasha Romanoff beside him and continued with a playful look. This is my favorite mount. Named Black Widow. 32. Black Widow. When I hear these 3 words, as if there was an invisible hammer, it hit Natasha Romanoff on the head, leaving her in a daze. Exposed? This is her first reaction. After all, the agent code of Natasha Romanoff is called Black Widow. But SHIELD never showed up. No matter how smart the man in front of him is, he will never know the existence of this secret organization. Coincide. The current scene can only be described as a coincidence. As an agent, Natasha Romanoff has sorted out the consequences and reacted very quickly. God, this motorcycle actually has artificial intelligence. Can I touch it? Natasha Romanoff, who came back to his senses, pretended to like it and looked at Wang Quan beside him. But there was a roar from the locomotive, which scared her back a few steps. It looks like she doesn't like you. Wang Quan looked at Black Widow deeply and said words that made her face pale. Yes. Sure enough, I still prefer old things. Natasha Romanoff responded with a wry smile and stepped back behind Wang Quan to prevent the locomotive from hitting her. Looking at the motorcycle, she somehow remembered the previous Comanche helicopter. Black matte finish, embellished with wicked purple glare. Reunite. Inside, shield known inside information. Wang Quan has a battle team composed of shape-shifting mechanical monsters. If nothing else, this locomotive is probably also a member of the mechanical monster. It surprised me that this arrogant and cruel man actually has such a terrifying armor technology in his hands. This man is too dangerous. Obedient. Wang Quan put his hand on the monitor, soothing the restless Black Widow. Shape-shifting King Kong, like humans, is an intelligent life, not a tool on Earth. Natasha Romanoff's words obviously violated the dignity of Black Widow. That's why this sinister poisonous spider wants to teach the other party a lesson. Trading with Obadiah's stock will trouble you. When everything is settled, I will not treat you badly. Wang Quan got on the motorcycle and told Natasha Romanoff again. I'll try my best. Natasha Romanoff sighed complicatedly, but there was not much confidence in her voice. Wang Quan nodded in response, and then drove the motorcycle to the exit quickly under the gaze of Natasha Romanoff. Please, be careful on the road. Natasha Romanoff looked at the black locomotive that was speeding up instantly, carrying Wang Quan out of sight, and sighed complicatedly. Since this man appeared, the whole world seems to be in chaos. Maybe only God knows. What will this man do next? Crazy things. On the street. Black locomotives, wanton on the road. Your Majesty, with all due respect. That human woman, I'm afraid she wants to plot against you. On the instrument panel of the locomotive, Black Widow sounded indignant. As a cunning hunter, Black Widow has a perception ability far beyond ordinary people's perception of danger. I know, but she still has utility value and can help me with a lot of things. Wang Quan said with a light smile. As a traverser, foresight is his greatest advantage. From the moment he saw Black Widow, Wang Quan has been planning. In a big event 4 years later, he will let Black Widow personally offer him infinite gems. But before that, Wang Quan also needs Starscream to bring the brain neural connector from the laboratory of Shockwave. Give this lady Black Widow a little makeover. 33. Hive Base. From the makeshift Decepticon headquarters, there was a weak wailing. Wang Quan, who rushed to the scene with Black Widow, showed a puzzled expression. What happened? Wang Quan asked Xiang, a wandering robot insect, and wanted to get some information from him. Master, hello. Yes. Starscream deserves. The robotic insects let out harsh laughter and stammered their reports. Obviously, Wang Quan overestimated the IQ and language ability of robot insects. But fortunately, when I heard Wang Quan's voice again, when it came from outside, the weak screams in the house suddenly stopped. But then, a roaring sound resounded from the ground. The embarrassed Starscream rushed out of the headquarters, knelt on the ground with choked sobs, and held his hands in grievances in front of his chest. His Majesty, you have to decide for me. Look at what those diggers have done to me. Starscream cried aggrieved, the crimes of the diggers. He pointed to the scratches on his body, as well as the indented iron plate, like a child, like Wong Quan making a small report. The scene in front of him made Wong Quan's mouth twitch, and he looked at the diggers who were coming. As predicted, Decepticons are Decepticons. As long as there are more members, there will inevitably be small groups that will start to fight against each other. This is something that even Megatron can't handle, but Wong Quan dismisses it, because he holds the fire of all Cybertron life forms. All living creatures are subject. Those who obey will prosper. Those who oppose will perish. As the new leader, Wong Quan has chosen himself. It's time to set new rules. Thinking of this, Wong Quan yelled at the diggers who came. Forklift, take care of your team members. I wake up your fire and resurrect you on this planet, not for you to fight infighting. I don't care about your old grudges or what Starscream did. But from today, whoever dares not to unite, I will extinguish his fire. In Wong Quan's words, there is cruelty and cold blood. Even Black Widow, who is a confidant, shudders instinctively. The diggers who came, the 6 shape-shifting King Kong, immediately fell to their knees. Dear Master, we know we're wrong. The 6 diggers said in unison. For the Master who resurrected them, they only had awe and gratitude in their hearts. Wong Quan was very satisfied with the actions of the digger team. He turned his gaze to the gloating Starscream again. And you? Wong Quan asked in a bad tone. He didn't want his adjutant to become some kind of honorary avenger in the big event in the future. Therefore, he must put his words first. Starscream felt a trace of killing intent from Wong Quan's body, and his face turned pale with fright. Your most loyal servant hereby assures you, I will never do anything that will harm my family. The Decepticons, all my family, Starscream said in a trembling voice. This extremely disgusting promise made the Decepticons on the scene feel uncomfortable. Okay, I don't know you yet. Wong Quan sneered contemptuously, and then motioned the Decepticons to get up. The space bridge, how's the construction going? Wong Quan asked the digging tiger, which is the question he is most concerned about. As long as you can have the space bridge. From Cybertron, Yuan constantly summons the Decepticons. Even if he is an enemy of the whole world, he will have nothing to fear at that time. More importantly, 4 years later, in the Battle of the Covenant, the Chitrui fleet from Thanos will invade the city. Avengers will also gather all members. In order to rewrite the ending of the event and get more benefits from it, he needs to build a real Decepticon army. It's a pity that the diggers headed by the forklift broke a bucket of cold water for him. Master, we are sorry. The material of the base can only build a small space bridge, and the issue of energy will also become a difficult problem. Forklift helpless report. At present, the strongest energy source on this planet is undoubtedly nuclear energy. But if you want to support the long-term operation of the space bridge, you must shut down all the facilities of the hive base. Unless there is an energy reactor with a smaller size and more stable energy delivery as the energy supply for the space bridge. After all, Cybertron's space bridge technology is a galaxy teleportation device. Energy. Hearing the report of Digging Tiger, Wong Quan murmured thoughtfully. Tony Stark, this talented Iron Man, appeared in his mind almost immediately. Presumably, his arc reactor. It should be able to solve the energy problem of the space bridge. 34. 3 weeks later, the operating room of the hive base. Wong Quan, who was lying on the operating table, slowly opened his eyes. A photon screen emerges from the pure white ceiling. Tyrant virus, successfully integrate with you. Congratulations. Obtained, supervision. Congratulations. Obtained, speed strengthening. Congratulations. Obtained, strength strengthening. 1-by-1 system prompts, reporting the strengthening of Wong Quan. This also made him even more curious after the promotion of Lazarus Pool and Tyrant Virus. How far has his personal strength improved? Perceiving Wong Quan's thoughts, a personal panel appeared in front of him. Name, Wong Quan. Age, 20. Ability, at stance intelligence level, 5. Genius, brilliant supervillain. Strength level, 4. Excellent, can lift light trucks. Speed class, 3. Extraordinary, surpassing the speed of a cheetah. Stamina level, 7. Immortal, close to immortality. Introduction. You are an outstanding genius, almost immortal life, and undead self-healing ability, your strongest trump card at the moment. The values displayed by the system let Wong Quan know more about his body after strengthening. Among them, the biggest improvement is the feature given by the Dionysus factor, plus the protection of at stance and the ability of magnetic gloves. Wong Quan is even confident that, like an apostle, he will fight the nuclear bomb head-on. Even against the Hulk in the movie universe, it can be 55% off. Advertisement. This is his current strength. Wong Quan got up from the operating table and took the clothes that Alex handed over. In view of Wong Quan's important identity, the work of injecting T-virus and virus serum was done by the top executive here, Alex Westgear. The injection was a success. The success is even a little unbelievable, so that the female head of the honeycomb is astounding. It's incredible, Lord Wong Quan. You are the most successful life form I have ever seen, integrating with the T-virus. If it weren't for your safety, as the highest order, I want to study your genes. Alex raised her palm and brushed Wong Quan's chest, murmuring with fascination. She even felt that the truth leading to eternal life was hidden in the blood of this adult. Alex's words made Wong Quan frown. Alex, I can give you a chance, but whether you can bear it depends on your ability. Wong Quan stared at the female supervisor in front of him, raised his wheat-colored palm, brushed Alex's cheek, and his smile gradually became playful. 2 hours later, Wong Quan yawned and walked out of the operating room. After turning on the smartphone again, he saw that there were more than 30 missed calls displayed on the screen. And all from one person, Rushman Natalie Rushman. This is the pseudonym used by Natasha Romanoff, and she is the legal counsel hired by Wong Quan. I am afraid there is only one reason for her to be so flustered and make more than 30 consecutive calls. Advertisement. Obadiah's share transfer. There is a serious problem. In fact, for the past 3 weeks, this sly old fox has been trying to find a way to delay time. Negotiations have never been able to proceed. At this juncture, the legal counsel lady, who has made more than 30 consecutive calls, can only explain one problem. Wong Quan presses the callback key soon. The other party on the phone answered the phone, but the voice that sounded was not Natasha Romanoff, but Obadiah's voice. Wong Quan, listen to me. Your woman is in my hands now, if you want to save. Phone. Obadiah's voice was filled with uncontrollable excitement and the joy of revenge. Only, before Obadiah's threatening words were finished, Wong Quan ended the call with disdain. Just throw your smartphone into the trash can beside you. Inside the trash, the threatening phone call from Obadiah kept ringing. But Wong Quan had already stretched and disappeared at the end of the corridor. Black Widow is one of the 6 elders of the Avengers Alliance and the high-level agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. If there is even one Obadiah, it can't be beat. That would be a little too funny. 35. At the moment, Obadiah's villa, Natasha Romanoff, whose hands were bound, was casually tied to a wooden chair by Obadiah. This be asterisk 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 D. How dare you hang up on me? Obadiah roared angrily. He never imagined that Wong Quan would be so cruel and hang up the phone. And, no matter how he called, there was no reply from the other side. Instead, Obadiah didn't know what to do for a while. If Wong Quan can't be contacted, how can he get revenge? Obadiah touched the shiny bald head, flushed anxiously, and looked at Natasha Romanoff unwillingly. But, having lost his ability, he can't even talk about threats. And all this, it's all the man's fault. Natasha Romanoff leaned back in the seat, rolling her eyes contemptuously. If it wasn't to cooperate with him in acting, it would be such a low-level method. With Natasha Romanoff's ability, it can be easily resolved. Just half an hour ago, Obadiah suddenly called and asked Natasha Romanoff to go to his home to discuss the process of the share transfer. But, when Natasha Romanoff arrived at the scene, Obadiah suddenly drew his gun and used her as a bargaining chip against Wong Quan. But in fact, even Obadiah himself is not convinced. With the cruel character of Wong Quan, would he risk entering the trap he set for a woman? But, take Obadiah, the current ability. They can only take Natasha Romanoff as a hostage and threaten Wong Quan. But the result? Even Natasha Romanoff, who was the hostage, began to pity Obadiah. It's not good to offend anyone, but you have to offend that man. Natasha Romanoff doesn't think that ordinary people like Obadiah will be Wong Quan's opponent. I am afraid. The deceased Kinna is the old fox Obadiah, so let's go to the end. When he knew that Wong Quan would not come to save himself, Natasha Romanoff decided to escape Obadiah's control and find a safe place to hide in his own way. When all the dust settles, he will appear in front of Wong Quan again. Continue to hide your identity and help Wong Quan deal with the trouble. Damn, hurry up and answer the phone. Obadiah, who was furious, sent out incompetent fury. He's totally P************ D off. If Wong Quan refuses to come out, then he will destroy the assets left by Jean Bing. Get that man out of the cracks. When thinking of this, Obadiah thought of the Iron King that had been developed. He glanced in Natasha Romanoff's direction and walked outside the house just to be safe, so as not to be known by this woman in the next conversation. Good chance. Watching Obadiah walk out the door, Natasha Romanoff knew that there was an opportunity to escape. The soles of the feet wearing black high heels are instantly tense. Just as Natasha Romanoff was about to kick the sofa beside him, with this momentum, he shattered the chair that bound him. A dazzling laser shot from the window. This made Natasha Romanoff stop, squinting suspiciously, looking ahead. A flight device full of technology, suspended outside the window. That blood-red electronic eye, staring at Natasha Romanoff, identifying her identity and gathering information on the scene. Laserbird. Apparently, Sonic sent it to investigate the news. Natasha Romanoff turned pale and stopped his escape plan. The consciousness as an agent is warning her. This hideous little monster must be the scout sent by that man. Mobile phone signal. It must be tracking cell phone signals to find it here. And at the moment, Obadiah, who was on the phone outside the house, didn't realize that he had been exposed. In the courtyard of the villa, Obadiah walked anxiously and asked about the current situation. Iron Overlord, how is it now? Obadiah asked eagerly. This is his only means of revenge, and it is also the last resort. My lord, everything is ready, just the energy supply. The researchers reported bitterly. They don't have Tony's IQ to miniaturize the arc reactor. You don't need to worry about this. Assemble the Iron King immediately, and I'll be there later. Obadiah ended the call with a sneer. The face of Tony Stark, the face that made him extremely uncomfortable, came to his mind. He doesn't have the technology to miniaturize the arc reactor, though, but he knew where to get it off the shelf. For example, Tony's chest. 36. California. Inside Tony's villa. After 3 weeks of training, Tony's body recovered very well. It must be 2 months before it will be back to normal. Only, the appearance of that man brought him unprecedented pressure. The power of those robot insects trampled Tony's self-esteem underfoot. Under the care of Xiao Chili, from the day I left the hospital, Tony locked himself in the laboratory and studied new armor without eating or sleeping. Faster, stronger, lighter, and more handsome. That's Tony, looking forward to the new armor. Also announced the Mark III, this classic steel battle suit, officially born in the movie universe. Just as Tony was about to open a bottle of champagne to celebrate the birth of the Mark III, a piercing noise suddenly sounded. Infrasound weapon. Almost instantly, Tony realized the technology the other party was using. If you want to take precautions, it is already too late. Tony's internal organs, resonating with the frequency of infrasound waves, collapsed stiffly in front of the bar. And at the moment, Obadiah, the old fox, walked slowly from outside. You remember this, right? It's a pity that those idiots didn't approve production. Obadiah proudly carried the suitcase, walked in from the outside world, and looked at Tony, who was in pain. Tony. After Obadiah turned off the infrasound weapon, he took off the shielding device on his ears and squatted in front of Tony with a sad face. When I ordered to hunt you down, still worried. I will lose you, the hen that lays golden eggs. But you shouldn't die. Not only did you come back, but you also brought me the last golden egg. Obadiah opened the suitcase, took out the extractor from the inside, and pressed it on Tony's chest. The scorching heat burned Tony's clothes and showed the arc reactor in front of Obadiah. Obadiah showed a fascinated smile, and squeezed his fingers slightly. Slowly pulled out the arc reactor that kept Tony Stark alive. This reactor has only fist-file size, but it contains more controllable, safer, and more durable energy than nuclear energy. And now, this arc reactor will be Tony's last work in the world. It will act as the energy core of Iron King, driving the strongest armor of mankind. Wait for that, man. After revenge is over, Obadiah will crack this technology and use it to create his own armored core, then take control of the world and establish a new order according to his ideas. At the same time, Hive Base, Decepticon Command. Your Majesty, the laser bird sent out has already pinpointed the whereabouts of Obadiah. Look at. Would you like me to go and crush this little reptile? After Starscream reported the situation to Wong Quan, he bent down and pleaded flatteringly. For him now, in order to establish the prestige of the first adjutant, it is urgent to make a contribution. Do not. Your current job is to stay here and direct the construction of the space bridge. Wong Quan shook his head, clearly distrusting Starscream's combat ability. He looked at the robotic insect, and finally at the digger. An idea popped up in his mind. Forklift, aren't you worrying about the energy problem? This time I'll send you digging tigers. I believe that the small battery on the chest of Iron Overlord will solve all the current problems. 37. Into the night. Underground at Stark Industries. Obadiah excitedly picked up the arc reactor in his hand and put it into the core of Iron Overlord. After connecting to the energy core, Iron Overlord's dim eyes immediately lit up with an ice blue light. Unlike the Iron King in the movie, because of the appearance of Wong Quan, the original plot was rewritten. There is also the inescapable horror brought to the city by robot insects. Tai Ba Wang has made a bigger upgrade in terms of height. The Iron Overlord, which is over 6 meters in size, is made of special alloys, and even the weapons have been demagnetized. The ability to control magnetism against that man. Bigger, stronger. One arm can easily lift a 10-ton object. When the power is fully turned on, the most advanced armored vehicle can be smashed into a discus with one punch. Not only that, the weapon system is convenient, and a stronger upgrade has also been made. Dual arm loading, 6-barrel Vulcan cannon with bullets over 30 millimeters caliber. Shoulder loading, 12 missile launch nests can turn a street into a flat ground in an instant. What's even more terrifying is that in order to fight against Wong Quan's machine insects, dozens of medium missiles are also loaded behind the armor. If the firepower is full, it is enough to blow up a mountain. It can be said, the current Iron Overlord is a mobile arsenal. It even has the strength to fight the Decepticons head-on. Masterpiece. Obadiah opened his hands obsessively. This is his armor. This is his tool for revenge. Unfortunately, the time left for him is still too short. Obadiah and his research team, after all, still have too low a vision. Underestimate the energy output of the arc reactor. Otherwise, it is entirely possible to build larger armor. 10 meters, even 30 meters. To know that an arc reactor can provide all the energy required by an aircraft carrier. The heavy armored hatch opens slowly. The inner cocoon-shaped cockpit is displayed in front of Obadiah. Obadiah moved his body and entered the cockpit excitedly. The intelligence system inside the armor was activated instantly. Wong Quan, I want you to pay a painful price for all this. Obadiah in the cockpit roared excitedly. With the closing of the hatch, Iron Overlord is officially activated. From the launch port loaded on the leg, blood-orange flames gushed out. The Iron Overlord, weighing dozens of tons, took off from the ground abruptly, smash the ceiling above your head, and fly in the direction of Hell's Kitchen. The Queen. There used to be the site of Jinbian. He holds real estate there, more than nearly 10 billion US dollars. Now all of Kim Byong's inheritance has been transferred to the name of that man. Obadiah believes that as long as it is destroyed, it will definitely attract Wong Quan's attention. As long as that man dares to show up. With the powerful Iron Overlord, he must be able to kill the opponent. Outside world. The Iron Overlord flying through the sky immediately caught the attention of the citizens. Many people raised their mobile phones and took pictures of the scene in front of them, and uploaded it to major websites to share with more netizens. Decepticon command. This sound wave that invaded the data network soon also received this video. The sound wave is not inferior to the mind of a supercomputer, and it quickly starts to calculate. Finally, he figured out where the Iron King would land. Commander, analyze the enemy's advance route. Are you sending a laser bird for aerial interception? The sound wave made the sound of electronic synthesis and asked Wang Quan beside him. Wang Quan folded his hands on his chest and stared at the Iron Overlord on the screen with a smile of anticipation on his face. Open the portal. Let the digger go to the landing site. Let me see. Is human's steel battlesuit stronger? It's still my Decepticon warrior. Even better. 38. The Queen. The streets at night are still bustling. The dense crowd, talking and laughing, gathered in the square to watch the Free Joker show. Sudden, from the sky above the city, there was a roar of fighter planes diving. The unidentified audience raised their heads curiously, only to find a steel giant descending from the sky at a terrifying speed. Boom! A terrifying loud noise resounded from the dense square. At the moment when this steel giant made contact with the ground, it directly shattered the concrete floor with a radius of 100 meters. There is a core area of nearly 10 meters, turned into a half-meter deep pit. The terrifying shockwave generated by the impact swept the flying sand and gravel and shot towards the dense crowd. Some unfortunate people who couldn't dodge were pierced by the flying rubble and fell to the ground and died on the spot. The chaotic crowd let out shrill screams and fled into the distance. There are also some idiots who are not afraid of death, holding up their mobile phones and filming the disaster in front of them. At the heart of the crater, the silver-gray Iron Overlord was covered with disgusting minced meat and shabby clothes. These are the last traces left by the innocent passers-by who died in the crash when the Iron Overlord landed. Ha! Wang Quan, did you see it? This is the power that I, Obadiah, have now. From the cockpit of the Iron King, there was a maddening laughter. Under the control of Obadiah, the Iron Overlord raised his huge hand and roughly wiped the sticky, minced meat from his head. The original silver-gray battle armor was soaked in blood, and there was an extra touch of blood. In the dim night, under the illumination of dim lights. Make this Iron Overlord look more dangerous and more violent. Get out. UB*************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************�e roared furiously. Through the intelligent system, the flamethrower on the right arm was turned on. Towards the crowd of onlookers dozens of meters away, a narrow and long violent flame was fired. The ignited crowd screamed and rolled on the ground frantically in pain, and soon turned into a charred corpse. And Obadiah laughed even louder. He has fallen into madness, and is completely immersed in the powerful power brought by the Iron Overlord. The Iron Overlord, who walked out of the crater, smashed the scorched corpse on the ground with one foot, and aimed the flamethrower at the surrounding shops. In an instant, the entire street near the square turned into a sea of fire. The air scorched by the sea of fire has become abnormally distorted. Amidst the explosions of the buildings, the Iron Overlord clenched his fists with both hands and let out a hoarse roar in the sky. King Quan Tai Bawang shouted out the enemy's name. He couldn't wait, crushed the man's head, to relieve the hatred in the heart. I will find you, no matter where you hide. On the burning street, the Iron Overlord walked fast, killing all creatures he could see in his sight. A corpse fell to the ground one after another. But only that man, the object of revenge he was thinking of, still didn't show up. Obadiah was wrong. He has put himself into the role of supervillain, and raise your enemies to the height of heroes. But Wang Quan is a cold-blooded person, and he has no sympathy for this sinful country. Even if the runaway Iron Overlord kills more lives, he will not feel distressed. From the beginning, Iron King is like a joker, completely addicted to his own revenge plan. As everyone knows, in Wang Quan's eyes, this is just a ridiculous and boring farce. You coward! Ha ha! Are you even afraid? Afraid of this steel armor? Afraid of my Iron Overlord? In the sea of fire of the ruins, Obadiah laughed outrageously, mocking the opponent in his eyes. Sudden, from the direction of the square in front, a dazzling light shines. Obadiah's laughter stopped abruptly, and he raised his mechanical arm hastily, protecting him from the strong light. Next moment, the roaring engine sounds. 6 of the latest construction vehicles, driving slowly to the location of the Iron Overlord. The leading forklift made a magnetic sound and ordered the other members. Digger, fit shapeshifting. 39. Same moment. SHIELD's helicarrier has entered a high-level alert state. Nick Fury, the director, pressed his hands on the podium. The only one eye, staring at the tragedy that is going on the big screen. About a few minutes ago, SHIELD's military satellite detected a high-energy response, moving rapidly. It is determined to be a special missile of an enemy country, and a piercing alarm is issued immediately. All SHIELD members were urgently mobilized. Respond to this crisis. According to the satellite positioning, SHIELD immediately locked on the Iron King, this fierce humanoid armor. Then, watching Iron Overlord landed in Queens. The series of tragedies that followed, all through the big screen, shown in front of all agents. This is the most terrifying war machine they have ever seen except for machine insects. What are the chances of winning against this big man, our people? Nick Fury frowned and asked Hill beside him. Not much hope. The weapons and equipment detected by the system have the power to blow up the entire Queens district. Neither the Quinjet nor the helicarrier, they are all moving targets. Before getting close, you can be perceived by the other party. After all, that's the weapon of Stark Industries. Hill sighed deeply, reporting the situation with a complicated expression. If you use missiles, medium and long-range lethal weapons, it's not going to get any better. The power of ordinary missiles is too small to penetrate the enemy's armor. Powerful, not to be used easily. Because the location of Iron Overlord is a residential area. If SHIELD bombed there in order to destroy the Iron King, waiting for Nick Fury's end, only life imprisonment. Sudden, a man came to his mind. Let Nick Fury look at Hill again and ask anxiously, "Where's Wong Quan? This lunatic is chasing him all over the world, so he won't hide." Nick Fury questioned Hill, and he almost forgot about this key man. Obadiah's Iron King. Apparently, it was specially made to fight against Wong Quan's robot insects. Do not know. We don't have that man, any intelligence information. Hill sighed. The only clue that existed between them and Wong Quan was the line of Black Widow. But now, Black Widow has become a hostage and is still being held in a villa. Mad. Fake. Nick Fury couldn't help but curse. The tragedy that happened in front of him has strengthened his determination to form Avengers. This world needs heroes. While Nick Fury, immersed in his own plans, Hill, who was standing beside him, suddenly shook his shoulder vigorously and gestured to Nick Fury in a surprised tone to look at the big screen. "Fury, look, there is a situation at the scene." Hill's voice was somewhat urgent, because in the chaotic square, she saw 6 familiar engineering vehicles. Because just 3 weeks ago, Wong Quan ordered his subordinates to buy the same vehicle. When did you like to make a fuss? What can those engineering vehicles do? Nick Fury, who was feeling a headache, stared at the picture on the screen and reprimanded the subordinates beside him. But soon, those 6 starter engineering vehicles. It made Nick Fury, his eyes widened in horror, and he even stopped breathing. It actually fit shapeshifting. 40. The Queen. 6 seemingly normal construction vehicles suddenly started shapeshifting. The shapeshifting gear, hidden at the core, rotates rapidly, making a deafening roar. Under the shocked gaze of Iron Overlord, the leader of the digger team, forklift, shapeshifting into a giant mechanical leg. Hateful. You monsters, don't even think about it. Obadiah, who is driving the Iron King, reacts very quickly. Realizing that these 6 engineering vehicles were ready for shapeshifting, he couldn't bear it any longer. Almost instantly, Tai Bawang raised his hands and launched an attack without hesitation. The Vulcan cannon, mounted on both arms, spins wildly and shoots 30mm armor-piercing bullets. Noisy bullets bombarded the forklift, splash a brilliant sparkle. But there is no white mark left, and even the paint surface is not damaged. As early as the moment when Tiger Fire Seed was integrated, the material of these construction vehicles was transformed into the indestructible Cybertron alloy. That is to say, conventional weapons on this planet. It is impossible to cause substantial damage to the digger at all. This is the technology from higher civilization, the technology crushing of lower civilization. On site, the combined shape-shifting of the digger is still going on. After the forklift completed shape-shifting, the mixing master also turned into another mechanical leg. Until the last bullet hit the forklift, it did not cause any damage to it. Iron Overlord, finally in a hurry. He couldn't even imagine what terrifying monsters would be born after letting these mechanical bastards complete shape-shifting. Since the bullet is ineffective against you, so what about this? In the cockpit of the Iron Overlord, Obadiah's frantic voice sounded. The rocket-launching nest, mounted on the shoulder, shoots 24 red dots, aiming at the mixing master, who has completed the shape-shifting. Compared to the heavy armor of the forklift, this target looks even weaker. However, haven't waited for Iron King to launch the missile. The master mixer, who shape-shifted into a mechanical left leg, stood on tiptoe, and then stomped his heels on the ground. Boom! A terrifying loud noise, accompanied by the earth shaking. The trembling earth, from the foot of Master stirring, cracked a long and narrow crack, and quickly spread forward. Wherever the cracks passed, buildings collapsed instantly, splashing dust all over the sky. The Iron Overlord, with an unstable chassis, slumped on the ground on the spot. In the cockpit of the Iron Overlord, Obadiah, who was in a panic, accidentally pressed the launch button. 24 small missiles flew towards the surrounding buildings without locking on the target. The energy of the explosion sets off a mushroom cloud, blow up more than a dozen residential buildings in Queens. The fire that connects the sky dispels the darkness of the night. The light of despair will illuminate the core area of the battlefield. The Iron Overlord, who was unstable on the bottom plate, slumped on the ground with his left leg stuck in the crack. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't pull it out. Damn, you goddamn machine. Get moving. Obadiah in the cockpit roared hysterically, but to no avail. The desperate Obadiah could only look up in horror. This digging tiger team completed shape-shifting in front of him. The drag bucket that acts as the backbone, the shape-shifted back, falls from the sky. The mechanical legs formed by shape-shifting with forklift and mixing master are connected together. Then there's Hook. He's shape-shifting into the shoulders and head. The bulldozer, who is keen on destruction, has long been unable to hold back, and he, who is shape-shifting into a mechanical left arm, is connected to the shoulder at the moment. He grabbed the sweeper that had just been shape-shifted into a mechanical right arm and placed it on his right shoulder irritably. Then, Hercules, after completing the shape-shifting, raised his head and let out a roar that shook the sky. So far, Hercules officially come. 41. The Iron Overlord, who collapsed on the ground, witnessed the whole process of shape-shifting. All the previous arrogance, at this moment, became fragmented. Don't come here. Obadiah looked up. The shape-shifting behemoth that fit together screamed in horror. Sudden, he thought of his last trump card. The back armor of Taibawang pops out, exposing the dense missile launch nest. Through the facial scan, Obadiah quickly locked, and the giant fit in front of him. Emission: 10 rounds of medium-sized missiles, shot from the back of the Iron Overlord, fly towards the head of Hercules, trying to blow up the head of this mechanical giant. But the enemy he faced was Hercules, has high intelligence and complete firepower. You can use the respective ability of each digger member and also have components with many functions. He is over 35 meters tall and strong, a solid and burly body. The defensive power is the sum of the digger squad. His strength is unparalleled. Destroy the Golden Gate Bridge with just one punch. Stepping on the ground with 1 foot can cause cracks several kilometers long and tens of meters deep. The solar rifle that comes with shape-shifting can shoot high-temperature light up to 10,000 degrees Celsius. The longest range can reach several kilometers. If it was the previous Hercules, due to the contradiction between the diggers, these powerful abilities would not be able to be used. But the resurrected diggers are no longer what they used to be. Out of their reverence for Wong Quan, they were able to unite as one and maximize the potential of Hercules. Facing a salvo of missiles, Hercules just raised the right arm of the machine and clenched it hard. The flying medium-sized missiles turned into scrap metal under the terrifying grip of Hercules. So far, Obadiah, the last trump card, was also completely lost. "You bug." Hercules looked down at the Iron Overlord below and let out a deafening roar. He took a step and walked in the direction of the Iron Overlord. The weak concrete floor cracked countless cracks in an instant. Hercules' mechanical left hand stretched out to the location of the Iron Overlord. Between the 5 fingers, 5 wide and short cracks were left on the cracked concrete floor. In the eyes of ordinary people, the 6-meter-high Iron Overlord can already be regarded as a behemoth. But in front of the 35-meter Hercules, it was not even the size of a palm. When Iron Overlord was grabbed by one hand and moved in front of Hercules, Obadiah finally collapsed. "Misunderstand. This is a misunderstanding," Obadiah said in fear. He looked up at Hercules, his face that was not angry and arrogant. His pupils trembled violently. "King, Lord Wong Quan, you must be able to hear. I beg you, even for God's sake, forgive me this time. I give you all my shares, and my villa and luxury car are all dedicated to you. I beg you, have mercy, and give me another chance. Please." Obadiah desperately begged for mercy. He finally realized that the absolute gap between the two sides in terms of strength. "At the same time, I also know that my armor will never be the opponent of this iron giant." Hercules, a high-energy object, has been found, suspected to be a miniature cold nuclear reactor. The voice of Hercules, thick and majestic. Then, the mechanical claws of a human arm file size extend from the fingertips of Hercules, pass through the chest of Iron King. Pull the arc reactor that provides energy directly from the Iron King's chest. The Iron Overlord, who had lost power and energy, was suddenly paralyzed. So far, Obadiah, even the chance to escape, has completely disappeared. Hercules put the arc reactor into the internal space carefully and stored it. He turned his gaze to the Iron Overlord in his palm again and asked respectfully, "Dear Master, what should I do with this little thing that offends your majesty?" The voice of Hercules reverberated between heaven and earth, resounding for thousands of meters. At the same time, inside the Decepticon command, Wong Quan, who has enjoyed this good show, raised a cruel arc at the corner of his mouth. "Kill. 42. On the battlefield. As ordered." After receiving the order from Commander, Hercules replied respectfully. Holding the left hand of Iron Overlord, it began to slowly tighten, making a harsh squeezing sound. Don't want. Please spare my life again." Obadiah in the cockpit, looking at the twisted cockpit, looked around anxiously. "I am the major shareholder of Stark Industries, and I also have a lot of power on the board of directors. I intend to be your subordinate, dedicated to you the entire Stark industry, to help you defeat Tony Stark." At the juncture of life and death, Obadiah's head was unprecedentedly clear. He thought of one more thing, which could be a bargaining chip for himself in exchange for his life. But this sinister old fox is wrong again. From start to finish, Tony Stark, in Wong Quan's heart, is a tool for swiping system rewards. No matter how brilliant his future achievements are, but at least now he is not qualified to become Wong Quan's enemy. Therefore, Obadiah's chips can't get this life back. When he found the palm of Hercules, he still didn't mean to stop. Obadiah completely collapsed. "Wong Quan, you will eventually become the curse of this world. All you have left is death and madness. As long as I think of you, people all over the world will scream and wake up from their dreams. You will eventually." "No. Gotta. Okay." Tai Bawang's malicious words before his death have not even been finished. The angry Hercules exerted force and directly squeezed the Iron Overlord in his hand into a ball of unruly scrap iron. The blood that shot out splashed on the face of Hercules. Make this steel giant look even more suffocating. On SHIELD's space carrier, the audio delivered from the scene made the entire command room fall into silence. All the agents raised their heads and looked up at the steel giant on the big screen. Obadiah's desperate roar before his death shocked all the agents present. "Quiet place. You can even hear the sound of the needle tip falling. Nick Fury, who came to his senses first, slumped in the chair behind him in a trance. The order goes down. From now on, Wong Quan is listed as the biggest threat. All information about him is encrypted at the highest level. Nick Fury said in a trembling voice. Even Fury, who is called the King of Agents and has seen the file size seen, has a look of fear on his face. This one named Hercules is a fusion of King Kong. The shock brought to the world far exceeds the previous machine insects. God knows. What kind of trump card is that man hiding behind the scenes holding in his hand? Fury, do you want to send an agent to track these 6 engineering vehicles? After hearing Fury's order, he'll quickly regained his senses and asked the officer in front of him. Stop joking. Do you think our agents can really keep up with them? Nick Fury laughed and shook his head bitterly. But don't forget, that man, in addition to shape-shifting King Kong, also possesses another technology. Space teleportation, either SHIELD or some other force. The only thing you can do now is to bury yourself in the ground. The deeper you hide, the better, and only by doing so can you escape the perception of that man. Golden, Obadiah, their provocative behavior beyond their own power is undoubtedly the best warning to the latter. But, Nick Fury and the country behind it, it will never be so easy to give the whole world to an outsider. Nick Fury was lying on his chair with a gloomy face, raised his drowsy head, and looked at the ceiling above. Only very few people know that he holds an absolute trump card in his hand, but he will never use it unless he has to. But, in response to the current crisis, it's time to start the Avengers project he's been talking about. 43. Hive Base. A portal opened from the square. The members of the Digger team, mainly forklifts, walked out from the inside. Master, I have retrieved the arc reactor you mentioned. With a little improvement, it can be mass-produced. It turns out that it doesn't just power the space bridge. It can also solve the energy crisis that the Decepticons are currently facing. The excited forklift reported to Wong Quan. As the leading engineer on Cybertron, he didn't expect that on this lower civilization planet, there would be such an outstanding genius to develop such energy technology. Yes. Then how soon can you start mass production? Wong Quan asked curiously. In fact, he has always known about the energy crisis faced by the Decepticons. In the millions of years of war between Autobots and Decepticons, Cybertron's energy has actually been exhausted. The remaining Decepticons, led by Starscream, were not in a very good situation. If Iron Man's arc reactor can alleviate the energy crisis, then Wong Quan's reputation in Decepticons will be pushed to new heights. Just 10 short years. I can increase the energy output of the arc reactor dozens of times. The forklift confidently promised. The rest of the diggers also raised their heads proudly, looking forward to their master's praise. But, after hearing this answer, Wong Quan's previous smile was instantly covered with anger. 10 years. You said I have to wait 10 years? Did you know that human named Tony Stark? It only took a week to build a prototype with a pile of garbage in a cave. It's only been a month since he made an upgrade. And you, from Gao Wenming, told me that it will take 10 years to restore human technology. Wong Quan pointed in the direction of the digger and reprimanded angrily. The digger team immediately knelt down on the ground, and the forklift headed by them had to explain bitterly. Master, please calm down. The energy field is not the strength of the digger. In the face of this adult's doubts, the forklift as the captain had to explain truthfully. Diggers are architects, and the field of construction is their specialty. On Cybertron, the cities are their masterpieces. But, when it comes to the energy field, it pales in comparison. But his words could not calm Wong Quan's anger at the moment. But at the moment, a discordant voice entered Wong Quan's ears. TSK, TSK, TSK. A digger. After so many years, you are still the same. Always fall off the chain at the most critical moment. It's a shame, even my adjutant can't stand it anymore. With his hands behind his back, Starscream walked out of the command center with his head held high. Seeing the former enemy, he showed a shriveled and embarrassed appearance. Starscream's mood at the moment, not to mention how happy it is. Starscream, have you forgotten what I said earlier? Wong Quan frowned, reminding the adjutant in front of him. The thing he was most disgusted with was the battle within the Decepticons. "Please calm your anger, Your Majesty." Starscream noticed the angry look on Wong Quan's face and immediately bent down with a flattering smile. "Allow me to introduce you to the medical officer I brought from Cybertron." Knockdown, and his assistant, Deadfire. Starscream raised her slender hand and pointed behind her. One red, one blue. Two brightly colored, shape-shifting diamonds kneeling respectfully on one knee. "Show your loyalty to this brutal majesty in front of you." "Your Majesty Wong Quan, if you are at ease, can you show me that little thing? I won't let you down." Knockdown with a confident smile and begged Wong Quan. As a medical officer, a Decepticon scientist, this happens to be his area of expertise. I picked up the credit right in front of him. How could he give up so easily? "Forklift, show him." Wong Quan looked at the knockdown in front of him and remembered his performance in the play. Compared to Starscream, Knockdown is a typical opportunist. Whoever is stronger will be loyal to whomever he is. And now, Wong Quan holds the life and death of all Cybertron life. He cherished his life. How could he have the idea of betrayal? Soon, after taking the knockdown of Arc Reactor, the scanning function of the electronic eye is turned on. In just 1 minute, the manufacturing drawings of partial parts were analyzed. There is a little improvement here, and the power will be increased by about 5 times. Knock down the blueprint that will be scanned, and use the photon screen to show it in front of Wong Quan, proving his ability. Looking at the blueprints that appeared in front of him, the anger on Wong Quan's face began to subside. Just when Wong Quan was about to praise the knockdown, there was a piece of good news from the sound wave, which made Wong Quan very happy. In Arctic regions, after 3 weeks of searching, King Ada found that father and son. 44. Far East Country, located in the coldest remote areas. In this snow-covered area, dripping into ice is no longer a metaphor. The winter is cold and long, the coldest month of the year. The average temperature here is only -50 degrees. It is recognized as one of the coldest regions in the world. After 3.5 weeks of searching, walked through village after village. Through the cobweb horse traces found, Ada Wong, a smart woman, finally found the specific whereabouts of that father and son, and taking advantage of the night, quietly sneaked into the interior. In that dilapidated hut, a seriously ill old man, caught with a cold, has been paralyzed in bed. In the absence of money for medical treatment, only inferior painkillers can be taken to delay the pain of the body. But the discerning person knows. If it continues, the old man's life will be very short. From the moment she entered the house, King Ada looked at the design drawings on the wall and knew that the father and son in front of her were the target she was looking for. But that young son, obviously hostile to her. After all, Ivan Vank is in his hand and is aimed at King Ada's shotgun. It's no joke. "Who are you?" Ivan Vank questioned the woman in front of him in E-language. But even with the shotgun pointed at, King Ada remained calm. She ran her fingers across the dilapidated dining table, frowning at the dust on her fingertips. "Please don't get excited. I'm not malicious. I came here on the order of the boss to provide you father and son with all the assistance that is urgently needed." King Ada put his hands on his chest and answered sincerely in E-language. Hearing this answer, Ivan Vank was stunned. However, just at Ivan Vank, stupefied effort, King Ada suddenly burst out and kicked the chair beside him, hitting Ivan Vank's lower abdomen. Ivan Vank, who was in pain, bent down instinctively, showing a painful expression. When he endured the pain and raised the shotgun again, the beautiful woman in front of him had disappeared. But the next moment, a cold dagger pressed against Ivan's throat, and the woman's voice also sounded from behind him. "Do not move." King Ada's magnetic whisper, like a demon from hell, made Ivan raise his hands obediently. King Ada took advantage of the situation, took the shotgun from Ivan's hand, and pointed it at the old man on the hospital bed. She knew very well that in the heart of such a tough guy, your family's life is more important than your own. Now, I can prove my sincerity. Mr. Ivan, I hope you can understand that I came with good intentions, not to hurt your father and son. Ada Wong smiled and used E-language, reminding Ivan Vank again. With her skills, if she wanted to kill the father and son, she had already done it. As a scientist, Ivan is certainly not a fool. After realizing this, he gave up his useless resistance and asked instead, "Why? Your boss, why are you helping us?" Ivan asked about King Ada, and he was full of fear for this beautiful woman. The other party can speak fluent language and is agile, obviously not an ordinary person. Because my boss has the same enemy as you. That's why you need your technical support. In return, my boss will give everything you deserve. Fame, status, wealth. King Ada said here, looking at the paralyzed old man in the hospital bed. He continued to explain with a smile. As long as you're willing to come with me, your father, who is about to go to Earth, can regain his health again. After all, the Hive base has the world's top medical technology. Every promise of King Ada hits the most vulnerable position in the heart of the father and son. Thinking of now, even life and death are in the hands of this cunning woman. Ivan Vank, out of the corner of his eye, looked at his elderly father who was paralyzed in bed. Without too much hesitation, he made his choice. I am willing to work for you, but the premise is to let my father get healthy again. 45. After getting Ivan's promise, King Ada did not let his guard down. The sharp dagger still pressed against Ivan's throat. Through the Bluetooth headset she wears, she is in contact for 24 hours and maintains sound waves of close communication. Here is King Ada. The identity of the target has been confirmed. King Ada reported the situation, looked at Ivan whose body was tense, and asked again. But the target is in a bad condition and needs urgent treatment. I need a medical team. Please open the land bridge immediately. Ada Wong reported the current situation and observed the facial expressions of Ivan Vank. As predicted, when he heard her last words, the anger on this iron-blooded man's face gradually dissipated. Even the tense muscles are quickly relaxed. Next moment, the green portal, under the gaze of the two, appeared in the dilapidated hut. Space teleportation. Ivan Vank murmured in shock. As a physicist, he could see it at a glance. Unexpectedly, there are people on this planet who have mastered such terrifying technology. The trump card in the boss's hand is more than that. King Ada laughed and teased. At the same time, he also put down the dagger that was resting on Ivan's neck. Space teleportation technology requires precise coordinates before it can be activated. The sound wave precisely locates the unknown of King Ada, so it can be unfolded accurately. Soon, a medical team in an isolation suit was urgently called. Pushing the mobile hospital bed, carrying various precision instruments, he walked out of the portal and rushed to the paralyzed patient. The paralyzed Anton Vank was carefully transferred to the mobile bed by the medical team. The patient's condition is serious and a full body examination is necessary. Contact the medical department inside the base. We'll be there soon. The leader of the medical team ordered to his subordinates. After putting Anton Vank on a ventilator and injecting anti-inflammatory needles, the medical staff pushed the mobile bed and entered the portal again. Father, Ivan murmured excitedly. He wanted to rush into the portal, watch his father with his own eyes, and receive professional treatment. But King Ada held his shoulders and pointed to a well-behaved parrot in the room. The boss specially told you not to forget your parrot. King Ada sighed helplessly. This 3-week search mission must not leave any regrets in the final link. Thanks. Ivan Vank sincerely thanks. This steely tough guy was shaking with excitement. He covered his face with tears in his eyes and turned around choked to prevent being laughed at by the woman in front of him. The scene that happened in front of him had never happened even in a dream. Although never seen, the mysterious behind-the-scenes boss, Dancer died for the confidant. Ivan Vank has decided to dedicate all his knowledge and his mind to this benefactor. No matter what the future will be, Ivan Vank will follow him and serve him until the end of heaven. To this, King Ada, just laughing without saying a word. After removing all the bullets from the shotgun in his hand, he threw it on the ground. She yawned lazily, stretched her waist, and walked towards the portal in front. After going back, she applied to the boss for a vacation, then go shopping frantically in the mall and indulge in a happy life. At the same time, Wong Quan, who is at the Decepticon headquarters, has a photon screen in front of him. Iron Man 1. The story mission is over. Kill the Iron Overlord and meet the mission conditions. Congratulations, get the final reward. Terminator Rev. 9. Wong Quan stared at the final reward in front of him without paying too much attention. After all, he owns the army of Decepticons. Even the strongest Terminator is just icing on the cake for him. But the system prompt is not over. You have become an employer with the Vank father and son. Congratulations, triggering the Iron Man 2 plot. Create a new arc reactor for the final reward, Colossus. Colossus, the super weapon among the stars, with the power to destroy the entire planet. 46. Hive Base. Wong Quan summoned the Terminator Rev. 9 and wanted to watch it, the crystallization of human technology. A pure black Terminator, nearly 2 meters tall. In the plot, he has the ability to change his physical appearance and separate the second individual. But because of this world, there is no Legion, so it's not embedded with artificial intelligence. Just a humanoid, high-level robot. But the Red Queen, who is in charge of all the facilities of Hive, saw this scene through surveillance cameras. Since seeing the existence of Decepticons as an artificial intelligence, she can't hold back any longer. She also wants to have a body that belongs to her. Then, she projected her own image in front of Wong Quan, blinking her big eyes pitifully. "Owner, can you give me this body?" The already very cute Red Queen, with the natural characteristics of girls, is just right to be cute. It is simply the ideal younger sister that countless young people dream of. "If you like it, I'll give it to you." Wong Quan smiled and waved his hand. With the powerful army of Decepticons, he was not worried about the so-called Omnic Crisis. Or, he himself is the fourth calamity. Omnic Crisis or Resident Evil Crisis is just a part of his great cause. "I like you the most." The Red Queen jumped up excitedly and made a playful air kiss action. Wong Quan smiled and did not hide his love for the Red Queen. Then, the Red Queen, who was in charge of the entire Hive base, showed her strength in front of Wong Quan. The scarlet virtual data, in the shape of a gene chain, is fed into the brain interface of Terminator Rev. 9. The empty eyes of the original Terminator Rev. 9 suddenly burst out with a strange blood light. And the 2-meter-high body began to shrink rapidly under Wong Quan's gaze. 1 meter 5, 1 meter 3. The transformed, delicate body, coupled with the lovely appearance, is clearly the appearance of the Red Queen. The dark metal shell transforms into flawless white skin. The liquid memory metal on his body also turned into a blood-colored dress. Flowing soft blonde hair, extending from the head, braided in midair, a delicate princess updo. That's it. Red Queen completed the transformation. Use this Terminator Rev. 9 as the carrier of the real world. Owner. The Red Queen rushed towards Wong Quan excitedly, rubbing against Wong Quan's thigh with her soft little face. Even the cold-blooded Wong Quan's expression of happiness was a little more tender. What a masterpiece! Wong Quan brushed the ends of the Red Queen's smooth hair and sighed in approval. And this scene, Starscream on the side, watching. This cunning first adjutant, the seven-crafted and exquisite heart, has become active again, since His Majesty likes pets so much. Maybe. The Decepticon chief scientist, Shockwave. The ongoing experiment will surely satisfy His Majesty. It seems. He can only put it down temporarily, and the unpleasantness between Shockwave. Let his scientific research team help him achieve results as soon as possible. 47. Outside the operating room. Through the transparent tempered glass, you can clearly see the scene in the operating room. The company, Amber Ray, which is mainly in the field of biology, master the medical technology that leads the current world for at least 100 years. Honeycomb. As the most important underground base under the name of Umbrella, it has a top medical team and has the best resources. The operation was successfully completed. Anton Vank, who fell into a deep sleep, has a very peaceful expression, original. Anton Vank will die with hatred and regret at the beginning of Iron Man 2. But because of Wong Quan's crossing, the world line was modified, which made him lucky to be saved. No doubt. For the Vank father and son, who have nothing left, this is a great kindness. Ivan's eyes were red and swollen, leaning against the glass window. He was so happy that he could not wait to drink vodka to calm down the depression that had accumulated in his heart over the years. But he can't do it, because soon he will meet the boss behind the scenes. He must pay attention to etiquette and leave a good impression in the mind of the boss. After half an hour, a portal unfolds in front of Ivan Vank. Wong Quan in a black coat, accompanied by a beautiful girl, walked out of the portal slowly and appeared in front of Ivan. Ivan, how is your father now? Wong Quan showed a gentle smile and asked. The Red Queen, who accompanied him, carefully translated Wong Quan's words into language to communicate with Ivan. As the current world, the most advanced artificial intelligence. Real-time translation, for her, is just a trivial matter. Thank you for your kindness. The doctor said the operation was very successful. My father, after recuperating for a while, he can recover. Ivan Vank, guessing Wong Quan's identity, immediately bent over and saluted excitedly. The Red Queen raised her cute little face and conveyed Ivan Vank's words to Wong Quan. That's good. Wong Quan showed a relieved smile and patted Ivan Vank on the shoulder. My lord, I can serve you at any time. This is what my father and I have been doing all the time, and it will usher in a new era. Ivan said excitedly. With trembling hands, he took out a blueprint of the reactor from his trouser pocket and displayed it in front of Wong Quan. This is the crystallization of his and his father's hard work in a desolate and extremely cold region, using limited scientific research equipment. After Wong Quan took the drawing, he showed a smile of admiration. He looked at Ivan with relief, and then looked at the old man in the operating room. I can only describe it as outstanding. From today onwards, you will work with my medical officer for the time being. When Wong Quan finished speaking, he snapped his fingers. An Aston Martin luxury sports car walked out of the portal and stopped behind Wong Quan. Then, this luxury sports car, under Ivan's shocked gaze, quickly reorganized its shape-shifting and half-squatted in the corridor in the form of a mechanical giant. Hello, human. From today, we are colleagues. By the way, do you like racing? Knocked out the smiling hand and conveyed his kindness to Ivan Vank below. Because the arc reactor, understudy, is originally a masterpiece of human beings. Therefore, as a Decepticon, he is not disgusted and works with humans. Ivan Vank smiled. Although the previous Ivan lives in a remote area, but he keeps following news from all over the world. The past few weeks. How could he not know about the attacks that shocked the world that happened in Twisted City? Link all these events together. Who is behind the scenes, planning all this? It is self-evident. Ivan Vank went in the direction of knockdown and put his palm on the fingertips of the knockdown, conveying his goodwill. I think I would like. 48. On Wong Quan's side, all the staff were immersed in a joyful atmosphere. Should have taken advantage of this opportunity. The famous Iron Man seemed a little embarrassed. The crazy Obadiah took Tony, the arc reactor that he used to prolong his life. If it weren't for Pepper, keep the prototype for him. At the juncture of crisis, he used it as emergency energy. Maybe the story of Iron Man is over. Inside a California villa, Tony looked down, slumped on the sofa, and stared at the LCD TV in front of him. At the moment, the big screen is playing the shape-shifting picture of Hercules fit together. Tony couldn't remember how many times this was the loop, but every replay can bring him an unparalleled shock. Wong Quan, that man's name, like half of a nightmare, appeared countless times in Tony's dreams. Always defiant Tony, for the first time in his life, knows the meaning of the word awe. The existence of these shape-shifting King Kong subverted his cognition. He even wondered if he was worthy of the name genius. If he really is a super genius in the eyes of people, so how should the makers of these shape-shifting King Kong be called? Creator? God? Thinking of this, even Tony himself laughed. If there is still a chance, he really wants to meet that man again. Tony raised the remote and turned off the LCD TV in front of him. Just as he was about to close his eyes and get a good night's sleep, a dark old man with a blindfold came into view. It seems that in addition to picking cotton, sliding doors and picking locks is also your racial ability? How did you get in here without triggering a security alert? Tony didn't turn around and taunted the man behind him with a spicy tone. I didn't come to listen to your slander. Tony Stark, this world needs your wisdom to fight the current crisis. Nick Fury walked up to Tony, sighing in a complicated way. The power shown by that man, SHIELD is powerless. Therefore, can't wait any longer. He must form Avengers. Assemble talented people with extraordinary abilities to stop Wong Quan's ambitions. It really is because of that man. Tony sighed sadly, even looked at Nick Fury with some pity, this sinister and cunning mouse. Right. Nick Fury frowned, answering Tony's question. Ah, you think there is Obadiah? This is a lesson from the past. I will be over my own power and challenge him. Tony sneered contemptuously. Although he has the grand ambition to become a superhero and change the world, but he is not an idiot, and he will not act as cannon fodder for others. At least, he will never act rashly until he finds the weakness of these shapeshifters. You're not thinking about it. We can. Nick Fury, still trying to persuade Tony. Considering Wong Quan's cutting-edge technology, he really needs the assistance of this genius. But Tony was merciless and threatened. Give you 3 minutes to leave my villa. 3 minutes later, don't blame me for being rude to you on the charge of break-in. Tony stared coldly at Nick Fury behind him, not hiding his disgust. These dirty mice, always like this. Let others rush ahead for them, hide behind, and enjoy the benefits of a fisherman. Tony Stark, I hope you will think about it after you calm down. After thinking about it clearly, just use this calling card and call me. Nick Fury, not angry. After putting another calling card on the coffee table in front of Tony, he turned and left the villa. No delivery. Tony lazily and perfunctory, watching Nick Fury leave. Then, without thinking, he threw the calling card into the trash can. It's just that he doesn't know. Nick Fury, after leaving the villa, gave the latest order to SHIELD. Obadiah, the stake in Stark Industries. All transferred to Wong Quan's account. Since Mr. Stark is unwilling to contribute to us, then we'll help him make a choice. When he is unable to resist, he will naturally take the initiative to contact us. 49. Inside Obadiah's villa, under the watchful eye of the laser bird, Natasha Romanoff did not dare to act rashly. After all, she is just an ordinary legal advisor. No matter what happened outside, she didn't know anything now. Now, the only thing she can do is to wait for rescue from the outside world. But a whole day has passed since I was tied here. Rescue still not coming. Natasha Romanoff, who was still in the water, looked a little depressed. Just when she felt that she had been forgotten, a miracle happened. The rapid sound of the engine speeding up sounded from the direction of the courtyard. A blue Night 15, with its dazzling high beams on, trampled on the precious flower bed and sounded directly from the courtyard. Next moment, this steel beast, with its indestructible armor, smashed the tempered glass. Amidst the falling glass shards, stopped firmly in front of Natasha Romanoff. Almost. The Night 15 that made an emergency stop was less than half a meter away from Natasha Romanoff. If the speed at which the driver steps on the accelerator is delayed by another half second, the fate of Natasha Romanoff is estimated to be a corpse. It was Natasha Romanoff who was a high-level agent in time, and her little face was pale with fright. Doors open. Wong Quan, who was stretched, stepped out of the driver's seat. He is extremely satisfied with the shape-shifting Night 15 of Deadfire. This luxury sports car, worth tens of millions, gives people a special feeling from the moment you sit in the driver's seat. Just go on a rampage, and you will be able to break out of the siege. The sturdy, bulletproof design, even the chassis has been thickened, all made of Cybertron alloy. The Deadfire, in the state of the vehicle, can even face up, resist armor-piercing rockets hard, and be unscathed. Compare this super locomotive of Black Widow shape-shifting. Vehicles like Night 15 are the toy of a tough guy of steel. Sorry to keep you waiting. Wong Quan walked up to Natasha Romanoff and whispered in her ear. After undoing the rope that restrained her, she gently supported Natasha Romanoff, who had lost her strength, in her arms. Thanks. After experiencing the previous intimidation, Natasha Romanoff, who was already weak, couldn't hold it anymore. The deadly Black Widow, closing his eyes wearily, passed out in Wong Quan's arms. Wong Quan held the Black Widow in his arms in the way of Princess Hug. Sitting in the back parking space, he found the unconscious Natasha Romanoff still clutching his clothes. That endearing look is like a helpless girl. Deadfire. Go to the villa where I lived before. Wang Quan didn't want to wake the woman in his arms, so he gave orders to Deadfire directly. "Yes, Your Majesty." Deadfire responded dully, then exited the living room and drove towards the highway along the road leading from the courtyard to the outside world. Inside the car, Wang Quan brushed Black Widow's cheek, and the more he looked at it, the more he liked it. Aside from her agent status, in terms of appearance alone, this woman is considered a goddess of beauty. It would be a loss to die like this. Deadfire asked Starscream. "Brain neural connector, how are you preparing?" Facing the Deadfire, Wang Quan gave the order again. As one of the 6 veterans of the Avengers Alliance, Black Widow is undoubtedly the one closest to infinite gems. To get that share, supreme power. From now on, Wang Quan will use Black Widow to bury his own pieces inside Avengers. 50. Natasha Romanoff had a long dream. He dreamed of returning to his childhood, of his adoptive parents, and his younger sister. Parks, whistles, fireflies. The scene in memory is like experiencing that happy time, sweet but short. But in the desperation and pain in the future, she supported her again and again to tide over the difficulties. Natasha Romanoff, who was sleeping, showed a happy smile and let go of all defenses. Perhaps, to the current Natasha Romanoff, such a situation is a great thing. Hive base. Comatose Natasha Romanoff, imprisoned on the operating table. The brain neural connector, modified by knockdown, is connecting to Natasha Romanoff's brain center. Show all her memories on the big screen. Pain, joy, sadness, anger, remorse, fear. Even Natasha Romanoff's forgotten deep memories are fully displayed under the brain neural connector. For example, she accepted the whole process of the Red Room renovation and her training in the Red Room. Wang Quan put his hands on his chest, calmly looking at the picture in front of him. Those deep eyes narrowed slowly, and a greedy smile appeared on his face. Red Room, Super Soldier Serum. More girls in training, no less than Black Widow. But when I think about it, this force that cannot be underestimated. In the hands of an old man who was about to sink into the ground, Wang Quan felt a little uncomfortable. But now, it is not the time to think about these trivial matters. How to bury your own pieces within the Avengers Alliance is the most important thing. Perhaps it was the painful memories that happened in the Red Room that stimulated Natasha Romanoff. The protective instinct from the body made this woman suddenly wake up from her dream. Then, she was completely stunned. Where she is not a man, the bedroom in the villa, but in a mysterious laboratory. There is a strange device connected to her head. Right in front of the big screen, the life of Natasha Romanoff continues to play. "What did you do to me?" Natasha Romanoff asked in horror, her body shaking. The depressing atmosphere here reminded her of her desperate experience in the Red Room when she was a child. Dialogue. Wang Quan stared at the picture on the big screen and did not turn around to look at Natasha Romanoff, who was gaff. "I'm getting to know the real you. Miss Rushman." "Do not." It should say Ms. Natasha Romanoff, Romanoff agent. This cold-blooded man just answered Natasha Romanoff's doubts in a flat tone. "You're looking into my heart. You can't do that. It's against the taboo." Natasha Romanoff retorted eagerly, but what she got was disdainful laughter. After all, she brought it to her door. She looked at the fragment of her own memory on the screen, and a trace of despair flashed in her eyes. Obviously, this man already knew her secret, and he was waiting for her ending. Naturally, it goes without saying, "I won't let you succeed." Natasha Romanoff showed a determined look, just as she tried to bite the miniature poison pill hidden in her teeth, terrified to find out. The poison pill was actually gone, and even the other weapons hidden on the body were taken out. As if to see her panic, a low magnetic sneer sounded from above Natasha Romanoff's head. "We're not idle when you sleep." What a cute expression. Magnetic female voice with a tone of schadenfreude. The Black Widow, hanging upside down in the sky, showed a teasing sneer on that slender and charming face. "Little cute, didn't you want to touch me before?" Black Widow remembered the scene in the underground garage and jokingly laughed at the desperate woman in front of him, and stretched out cold, slender alloy claws, gently caressing Natasha Romanoff's cheek. "Don't touch me, you monster." Natasha Romanoff, who was furious, roared at the top, but in front of her, there was Wang Quan's sneer. The man turned and looked back, looking down at Natasha Romanoff, who was imprisoned on the operating table. I advise you to be more polite, Ms. Natasha Romanoff, because from today, Black Widow is your roommate. Duh.
If you're enjoying the story so far and want to hear the next parts, don't forget to like the video. It really helps the channel grow. And if you'd like me to continue the series, drop a comment below letting me know. Your feedback and support keep these audiobooks going strong. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.